game in the NCAA Division IIA Championship Tournament. Now, live from New York's Long Island, here are CBS 31's Kurt Pegler and Steve Mays.
College football playoff action this afternoon from Hofstra Stadium on Long Island. It's the Division IAA quarterfinals. The 10-2 ISU Redbirds tackle the 11-1 Flying Dutchmen of Hofstra. Good afternoon, everybody. Kurt Pegler along with former ISU quarterback Steve Mays. We're glad you're alongside here for ISU college football playoff action here on CBS 31. An exciting time to be a Redbird fan, Steve. Todd Berry has his team as far as any college football team has ever gone in the university's history.
That's right, 10 wins, opportunity to get the 11th win, school records, both of those would be, and it's great to see all the fans. We've seen all the media that's here, Kurt, following the Illinois State Redbirds. Things like this only help in recruiting, and I know Todd Berry wants to take this program to the next level. This is just one of the steps along the way.
Let's talk about this afternoon's football game with Hofstra and ISU, two very high-powered offenses, but the special teams could be the key today, and the Redbirds had a great special teams weekend last week.
That's right. They block a punt. Kennard Killingsworth runs it back in for a touchdown. Also, Ryan Segola runs in a punt return for a touchdown. And I mentioned to you, Kurt, that Illinois State coach Todd Berry always talks about the three facets of the football game: offense, defense, and special teams. You have to win 2 or 3 of them to be successful. They won them last week, and that's why they beat Colgate.
Meanwhile, when you talk about Hofstra, you begin your conversation with their outstanding senior quarterback, Gio Carmazzi. He's got the numbers to back up all the NFL hype that he's been receiving.
That's right. You talk about the hype. It's unbelievable. It's the man they call Gio around here. We've heard a lot about him. Thrown for 2,900 yards, 23 touchdowns. He's also run for 12 touchdowns as well, Kurt. He is the real deal, ranked as the number 3 senior quarterback coming out in the country. That includes the Division IA as well. So Gio is the man to watch today.
It's a perfect afternoon for college football, and it's up next. Illinois State and Hofstra live here on CBS 31. Stay tuned. The opening kickoff is right around the corner. Here to Hofstra. They're in their 3rd playoff here this decade.
That's exactly right. It's neat to see Wayne come back for the coin toss, and he used to hold a lot of the receiving records here at Hofstra until Steve Jackson, a receiver that we'll talk a lot about today, Kurt, for Hofstra, has broken all of those. So it's nice to see Wayne back, and let's get a look and see who wins the coin toss.
The Redbirds will be wearing their road white uniforms with the red trim, and Hofstra will be in its home blue uniforms with the gold trim. It's a very nice stadium here at Hofstra. We had a little bit of rain this morning, but the sun is out, and it looks like it will be really a beautiful day for football. And the weather conditions, 60 degrees, a slight wind out of the south at 5 miles an hour. It's sunny and pleasant, really perfect football. We're not going to have any weather conditions really that should be a major factor this afternoon.
That's exactly right. Can you believe this? First week in December, and we're playing in 50 and 60 degree weather. It's really amazing, especially the fact that we're out here on Long Island. And I really look for a great game. Weather will not. And both of them are on a roll. That's neat. Both offenses are playing well. Both defenses are playing well. So this really should be a classic Division IAA football game, Kurt.
It's just an absolutely perfect afternoon for football, and we're going to keep our eyes on the Illinois State defense as it tries to defend the run and shoot this afternoon. This is a kind of offense, folks, if you're not familiar with it, which is built around a passing, a ball control style, but it looks like the Redbirds are going to get the football first, as it'll be Hofstra kicking to the Redbirds. But when the defense comes out, that'll be certainly one thing that we'll keep our eyes on.
That's exactly right. Hofstra will have a little bit of a wind here at their back. You saw in the the weather conditions there, about a 5-mile-an-hour wind, so it should be an outstanding day.
Chad Johnson to kick for Hofstra. He will kick to Illinois State as the Redbirds have won the toss, and back for the Redbirds will be Avion Cason, who's already run a couple of kickoffs back, each 100 yards this season. And what a way to start a football game, or what a way to at least inject the dagger into your opponent's heart, isn't it, Steve, when your special teams comes up with a 100-yard kick return for a score?
That's exactly right. You know, and you got to mention, Kurt, that the fact that he has been the National 1AA Special Teams Player of the Year for 1 week this year. He, as you mentioned, run 2 kicks back for touchdowns, and he is very exciting. He almost broke one last week against Colgate, if you watch that game.
And Chad Johnson to kick here for Hofstra, and we are underway here in the Division IAA quarterfinals, and back to take it is Cason as he fakes the reverse and keeps the ball, and he's finally dragged down at his 12-yard line. The Redbirds doing a little bit of a razzle-dazzle fake reverse off the kickoff to try to offset Hofstra, but the Redbirds will start deep in their own territory.
Yeah, that's a play you see a lot if you follow the Redbirds this year. They will attempt to fake, and they will run that reverse later on in the game. It's one of those things. They're just trying to set you up a little bit, give Hofstra something to think about.
Chris Crank for Hofstra with the tackle. You see Andy King, Dan Hamma, Ted Wolf, Mike Rodbro, Chris Van Gorder, the offensive line for the Redbirds. Ricky Garrett, John Laurenti, Steve Castro are your wide receivers, with Scott Preisker, the tight end. And Dusty Burke starts at quarterback with Willie Watts in the backfield. And it's Watts who gets the call, and he's around the right side. He's pushed out of bounds for a short gain.
Gary Williams, number 96,
as the Redbirds running on first down.
Willie Watts is the leading rusher for the Illinois State Redbirds. Willie has rushed for 729 yards and 3 touchdowns, but we will see a multitude of running backs for the Redbirds this afternoon.
Meanwhile, the Hofstra defense now, as they start on the other side of the ball. Kyrie Williams, Jim Magda is one of the top linemen in the country. Also, Jim Myers on that front line. Rob Levettis, Jim Emanuel. We'll keep our eyes on him at linebacker with Joe Todd. Lindy Washington, Archer Longden.
Wide open down.
Yeah, Doug Shanahan and Rob Thomas, and wide open, and a big play for the Redbirds there as we were talking about that play, and a nice reception that time for the Redbirds as Troy Hunter came up with it, and the Redbirds have a first down.
Yeah, good throw right here by Dusty Burke. You see him in the shotgun. Troy Hunter just gets loose down the sideline. Dusty does a great job finding that open zone for a first down.
Dusty Burke, the redshirt freshman out of Tuscola, who took over the reins when Kevin Glenn, the All-American quarterback, went down with an injury in that Indiana State game back in October. He's done a masterful job of engineering the Redbird offense. It's 1st and 10 for Illinois State now, and again, it's going to be Watts who bangs through the line of scrimmage and gets a short 2-yard gain before he's hammered down by Jim Magda. We mentioned him, 6'1", 275-pound senior, who's one of the top defensive linemen in 1AA in the country.
That's right. Actually, that award will be given this weekend. That's the Buck Buchanan Award for the best defensive player in Division 1AA, and Magda is up for that award. That's an indication of how that guy can play. I mean, he can really get after it.
Spotted as a 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Redbird offense. We're just underway. No score here. A minute and a half into this playoff game. Burke under center now. Again, Willie Watts is the lone setback, and now it's Burke to roll out. And he flips the ball out in the open, and it's caught and a completion that time for the Redbirds.
Yeah, one of my favorites right there. Redshirt freshman John Laurenti comes from a great program out of Bishop McNamara, where his father actually was a coach for a long time, won quite a few state championships. Laurenti is really starting to come into his own. As you see Dusty getting out on the outside right there, Laurenti finds a nice little seam. Another first down for Illinois State.
Laurenti and Burke are roommates at Illinois State, so certainly they're familiar with each other and each other's tendencies. And now out of the shotgun, it's Dusty Burke on 3rd and a short, and he flips the ball out now to Ricky Garrett. The reception is made, and he's pushed out of bounds.
You see Ricky right there talking a little bit. If you look at Ricky Garrett this year, his stats are down a little bit, but I think that's just because he has attracted a lot of coverage, Kurt. I mean, people find out where Ricky Garrett is at all times. He's former, he's first-team All-American last year, second-team this year, All-Gateway, but he's quite a player, as you see Ricky's stats right there.
I'm sorry, I misspoke on that. That was a first down play and a gain of 5 yards, so now it's 2nd and 5. And Burke now back under center after that play out of the shotgun. Again, the lone setback this time is Avion Cason, and he gets the screen pass, and he's out in the flat, and he cuts upfield before he's finally dragged down at the 41-yard line now, and the Redbirds are moving the ball efficiently.
They really are. They're sticking with their game plan. Coach Berry said he was going to try and throw long, try and throw short, try and get Dusty on the outside. We're going to see it one more time. This one, they're just trying to isolate Avion Cason on the middle linebacker, Jim Emanuel. You'll see him come in right there with the big hit, but that was a nice pickup on 2nd down.
Doug Shanahan, the strong safety for Hofstra, who leads his team in tackles, in on that tackle as well. And now it's 3rd down and 3 for the Redbirds, who have converted nicely so far in their opening drive. It's Burke now back to pass. 4 receivers in the pattern. His ball is zipped over and complete as it's caught by Ricky Garrett before he's finally dragged down now at the Hofstra 26. The senior wide receiving star for the Redbirds coming down with his 2nd reception this afternoon.
Yeah, this is one right here. Ricky Garrett beats Lindy Washington right there. Dusty, you can show he's got a little zip on that ball, and Ricky has found something in this defensive secondary where he's able to take advantage.
And Hofstra's Shanahan, as we mentioned, the leading tackler on the club, already has 4 tackles on this first Redbird drive. The Redbirds started at their own 12, and they've now marched down to the 26 of Hofstra, and it's 1st and 10 for Illinois State. And Burke again back to pass. Flips the ball out in the open. It's Avion Cason. He's got a couple of blockers in front of him. He cuts back against the grain. He's got a first down as he's inside the 15, pushed out of bounds at the Hofstra 12.
I love the play call right here, Kurt. Just quick screen. They try and isolate once again Avion Cason, who is really coming back from that injury. You're going to see it right here from an end zone view. This is a great view. Watch Avion there in the left flat. Look at those wide receivers for Illinois State. They really lock on. And if you have not seen Illinois State play this year, they have the best blocking receivers in Division I AA that you will see all year.
Cason had 37 receptions for nearly 300 yards of a Redbird offense this year, and it's 1st and 10. As it's Burke again, he's marched the Redbirds down now from his own 12 to the Hofstra 12. And it's going to be a handoff this time, and Walter James, who has checked in, the big train as they call him, healthy and back in the lineup, and he gets deep inside. Now he's inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, you got to like that nickname, don't you, Kurt?
You do like that nickname, Walter James.
That's right.
The big train, 6-footer out of Immokalee, Florida. His brother, Edgerrin James, is having a great year in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts.
That's right. He was an all-Gateway newcomer team this year, second team all-Gateway, so Walter really came into his own this year. We should mention that Dusty Burke is 6 of 6 on this drive for 71 yards, so Dusty getting off to a strong start.
And now 2nd down and a short 2 for the Redbirds. As there's a fumble that time, as there was a mix-up in the backfield, and Burke has to jump on it as he and Walter James collided, and the ball is back out now at the 11. Redbirds were lucky they didn't turn the ball over.
Not exactly sure what happened on this. Hopefully we'll get a replay on this. I think Dusty's trying to make an audible, and Walter did not get the audible. I don't think he thought he was going to get that football, and you see Dusty very lucky to get that ball back. Now they'll be faced with 3rd and 9.
3rd down and 9, and the crowd is chanting for the Flying Dutchman defense to respond. The Redbirds again started this drive on their own 12, and now they're at the 11-yard line of Hofstra, and out of the shotgun, it's going to be Burke with Cason now at the bottom of the screen as he goes in motion. Burke under pressure, and he's going to go down. It's a sack that time as Hofstra's defense did respond, and it's Khari Williams, the 6'4 junior, 256-pounder with a big play.
Yeah, he's one of their best pass rushers. That's something that you don't see a lot against Illinois State's offensive line. They only gave up 16 sacks all year, but right here, a lot of pressure on Dusty Burke, and now we will get a Jake Strader field goal.
So the Redbirds, who just a minute or so ago were inside the 5-yard line and looked to be marching towards a touchdown, now have to see if they can settle for 3 points as Jake Strader has come on, and he will attempt a 39-yard field goal. The snap is good. Ryan Spielman with the hold, but the kick is going to be wide, and it's no good. And the Flying Dutchmen are running onto the field as they've held, and the Redbirds walk away without any points. 8:54 to go here. First quarter, the Redbird offense can't come up with any points. There's a missed field goal. Turns the Redbirds away. Hofstra and the Redbirds are scoring. Back now here at Hempstead, New York, and Hofstra will take over the football at their own 20-yard line, and out of the shotgun, it's going to be Gio Carmazzi already. The high-powered offense, this run and shoot, we'll see a lot of this afternoon. Back to pass now is Carmazzi. He flips the ball over the middle, and he has a receiver and a big gain for Hofstra. It was Bill Morales who came over the middle and caught that quick hit right over the middle, and it's a first down and a big gain, a 15-yard gain out to the 35. And now Carmazzi is going to be over center. The lone setback is Jimmy Jones. Carmazzi under center now. 4 wide receivers, and we'll see this the bulk of the afternoon. And it's going to be Jones who gets the call and gets about 2 yards before he's finally stacked up by the Redbird defense. Galen Scott, among others, in on the tackle.
We should probably explain a little bit about the run and shoot. We've mentioned that as we're going to see some of the lineups right here. We'll get back to the run and shoot, but Kurt, I'll let you get into lineups here.
Yeah, Holland, Morera, Zorger, Racino, and Brigandi are up front, the linemen for Hofstra. Kamal Roy, Bill Morales, Steve Jackson, the leading catcher, Charlie Adams. Those are the 4 wide receivers. We mentioned Gio Carmazzi and Jimmy Jones. You'll see them mainly just in the backfield. One set in the backfield this time. And this time out of the shotgun on 2nd and 8. It's Carmazzi, and he flips the ball out, and it's going to be Jones who makes the reception. He's got some yardage upfield. He's across midfield to the 40, to the 35 before he's finally dragged down at the 30-yard line by the Redbirds. And again, it's Galen Scott on the tackle.
Yeah, if we get a chance to see this in the replay, you're going to see that Galen Scott actually mixed up his coverage right here. He went inside with the inside receiver, and he was supposed to be on the outside. Thank God he was able to get back. You saw Galen run inside, and right there, very lucky to get Jimmy Jones, stop him short of the touchdown.
The run and shoot has given Hofstra 3 plays, and the Flying Dutchmen have gone from their own 20 now to the Redbird 30. It'll be 1st and 10. We're scoreless here with 7.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. And again, it's Carmazzi barking out the signals from the shotgun. One of the Redbirds may have jumped offside. There is a flag. The ball is a fake to Jones, and this time it's a pass out in the open, out in the flat, and a nice play that time by Hofstra. Had us all fooled.
Yeah, they really did, but this is going to be a penalty here on Tim Angston, number 42, the linebacker for Illinois State, jumps offside. Got a feeling that Hofstra will decline the penalty as they will pick up another 1st down to Steve Jackson on this play.
Jackson made the reception on the far side. As we mentioned, he is the Flying Dutchman's leading receiver. And here's the set for the Redbird defense now, is it's Cook, Finn, Gregory, and White. Finn and Gregory have been outstanding this year at the tackle positions. Ryan Zacola, Tim Angston, Galen Scott, and Derek Smith, the 4-4. Those are your 4 linebackers. Armando Andrade, Alfred Corbin, and Sam Young are the secondary, and they'll have their work cut out for them this afternoon against the run and shoot. And again, out of the shotgun, it's Andrade, or I should say it's Carmazzi, and now he's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Steve Jackson was momentarily in motion, and now they've set, and he's come up under center. And now a quick zip pass over the middle, and it's complete. That time, as it is caught by Kamal Roy, his first reception of the afternoon, and he's inside the 10 of the Redbirds.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the run and shoot is really hot right now, and we'll get back to what the run and shoot really is. It's an offense with no tight end. They're going to have 4 receivers and 1 running back, and most of the afternoon, Gio Carmazzi, the quarterback, will be in the shotgun. He'll do a lot of audibling from the line of scrimmage. As you see Gio right here barking out another audible.
It's been an effective drive so far, as now Hofstra's 2nd and 2 inside the Redbird 10. It's spotted at the 9. Under center now is Carmazzi. And he hands to Jones, who has the 1st down, and he's inside now the Redbird 5 before he's finally dragged down by a couple of tacklers. Derek Smith among them.
Yeah, that's right. I think Derek Smith makes the initial contact right here. Another 1st down for Hofstra, so they're going to have 1st and goal at about the 4-yard line. And their offense is really rolling right now.
6.5 minutes and counting left here in the first quarter. We are scoreless. Both teams have had great opportunities. Hofstra on its first drive inside the Redbird 5. Illinois State got to the 5-yard line of Hofstra before finally getting a sack and missing a 39-yard field goal. It's 1st and goal now. As Carmazzi under center, looking for Jackson. He throws in the end zone. It's tipped away. Nicely done by the Redbird defender that time, as it was Armando Andrade.
What a great play. I mean, the ball was right there by Carmazzi. Andrade at the last second just flips his arm up. You're going to watch the play right here. This should be a touchdown, Kurt. The ball is right there. You see him actually catch it. Andrade does what he's coached, flip that ball away, and now it'll be 2nd and goal from the 4.
The Redbird secondary certainly will be put to the test this afternoon, as Hofstra loves to throw the football.
Boy, they really make it tough on the defensive backs, don't they?
Absolutely. And now Carmazzi on 2nd and goal, with the lone setback being Jimmy Jones. And he's going to get the call, and he's right up the middle and in the end zone for a touchdown, a 5-yard run for the score.
You know what happened right there? Tim Angston, the middle linebacker for Illinois State, came up the gut. He picked the left side to run. Carmazzi recognized that, handed back to Jimmy Jones. Jimmy, almost untouched, in for a 4-yard run.
And an effective and efficient drive for Hofstra on their first opportunity. And here's another look at the score. Wide open up the middle. You see there was a momentary hit there. He fumbled, but the officials had ruled that he'd crossed the plane of the goal line for the score. So it'll be Chad Johnson on for the point after.
Hey, this is Charles.
Artesetta will hold for the Dutchman. Snap is down, so is the kick. And it's up and good. And the Flying Dutchmen are impressive on their first offensive opportunity. March down the field, 80 yards for the touchdown. And with 5:57-0 lead, the Flying Dutchmen marching downfield. An 80-yard drive capped off by this short TD run.
Yeah, that's a lot of running room right there on the inside against the Illinois State defense. Jimmy Jones, 5-yard touchdown run. They made it look awful easy right there in that first offensive series for Hofstra.
And now it's going to be Chad Johnson again to kick, and back deep for the Redbirds is Avion Cason. Both offenses showing they can move the football, but it was the Dutchmen who get on board first. It's 7-0, and the kick goes deep to Quezon, who takes it 2 yards into his end zone, and he's going to run it out. Again, he fakes the reverse, hangs on to it before he's finally tackled at his own 14-yard line. Same play as the opening kickoff as he fakes the reverse and hangs on to it.
Yeah, this one, Avion's got to stay in the end zone right here. He kind of hesitates for a second. So that gives the defensive coverage a chance to get downfield. Now, once again, Illinois State will start inside their own 20-yard line.
Well, the Redbirds with Dusty Burke at the helm moved the ball well the first time, an 11-play, 72-yard drive, but just came away when Jake Schrader couldn't convert on the 39-yard field goal. So we'll see what happens on the Redbirds' second offensive opportunity.
It looks like we might see about 1,000 yards in offense this afternoon, Kurt. Both teams going up and down the field. Hopefully Illinois State can sustain their offense and get it going again.
Burke rolling out this time. To the left, he's going to hang on to the football. He keeps it, he tucks it under before he finally runs out of bounds at the 25. They'll spot it at the 26. A nice gain of about 7 yards for the Redbird quarterback.
Yeah, predetermined roll right here by Dusty Burke. You see the wide receivers will lock on and block. They're not even attempting to run a route, as Illinois State loves to run this play with Dusty Burke. He's very athletic. Get him on the outside, and Dusty can show a little bit of speed as you see the receivers downfield blocking for him. If you happen to see Jacob Neat, number 29, is back out there. Or actually, pardon me, number 19 back for Illinois State. He has missed a couple games with mononucleosis this year.
And it's a screen pass to the outside. Nicely done by the Redbird offense. They lined up 3 wide receivers out there on that side and flipped the ball out, and the Redbirds made a nice play there. It was Troy Hunter once again who caught the first pass of Dusty Burke, catching a similar play this time.
That's right. Troy's a guy who's starting to get more minutes for the Redbirds. I think Todd Berry likes his speed on the outside. You see that block on the outside by Jacob Neat. And Illinois State, once again, able to pick up first downs. Let's see if they can keep it going.
So 1st and 10 for the Redbirds. Again, they lined up 3 wide receivers on the near side for that play. And this time, they just split it out on a typical set with the 3 wide receivers and Walter James, the lone setback. Burke under center now. And he hands to James, who's got a couple of blockers in front of him. Nicely done. He pushes himself out now across the 35 to the 37.
We should mention that Walter James is a guy that's really been nursing a couple injuries this year. Had a little bit of a knee problem, bounced back. Illinois State now, at the end of the year, is about as healthy, Kurt, as they have been all year. They're starting to get linemen back. They're getting Jacob Neat back. Avion Quezon is playing without injury now. Finally, everybody is back for the Redbirds.
And big Andy King, the sophomore out of Lincoln, leading the way on that play. Redbirds like their running ability up the middle. We'll see if they do that, but they have nobody in the backfield this time as 4 wide receivers are in the pattern now, and one of them in motion. That's Avion Quezon. Again, it's going to be a rollout from Burke. He tucks it under and keeps it again before he's finally tripped up. A nice tackle that time made by Joe Todd, one of the linebackers, outside linebackers, tripping up Burke. Otherwise, he had a lot of green in front of him.
He really did. Opportunity right there by Scott Preisker, the tight end, to make a block. We're going to see it here on the right-hand side of your screen, the boot by Dusty Burke. Preisker just didn't snap his head around quick enough to make that block, but Illinois State just continues to roll along, racking up the yardage.
And it's 1st and 10 for the Redbirds. 5:15 and counting left here in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Hofstra. And we're glad you're alongside here on CBS 31. Kurt Pegler along with Steve Mays for this 1AA national quarterfinal game. It's Avion Quezon who catches the short pass, and he's in the open. He's got a couple of blockers, and it's a big gain for the Redbirds as he's down to the 32-yard line of Hofstra. Quezon has been outstanding in catching that flat pass, Steve, and turning it upfield. He's done it so far on both offensive drives for the Redbirds.
Well, that's a speed right here that they've missed from Avion Quezon when he was nursing that leg injury. He just puts it in another gear right here, Kurt. Able to accelerate right up the middle. And once again, Illinois State threatening now at the ball 32-yard line.
Another first down for Illinois State. Both teams, as we've said, have potent offenses, and we're seeing it here in the opening quarter. And now out of the shotgun, it's Burke. The fake draw that time to Quezon. He flips it out, and it's Preisker. And he has a nice stiff arm there and a nice big gain for the Redbirds as he was marched up with Archer Longden, and we've got a flag on the play, and it might be a face mask.
Yeah, we saw Scott Preisker right there indicating his face mask was grabbed onto. The back judge actually threw a late flag in, and I think he's going to get the call.
That's what the initial indication was, as Preisker, the tight end, was open in the flat on the naked bootleg, and that's exactly what it was, as the referee Ralph Wilson calls that. It's going to be a face mask against Hofstra, so they'll move the chains again.
Here's the replay right here, a little isolation screen with Scott Preisker on a linebacker. and I like that matchup. As you did see the face mask as Preisker was pulled to the ground, but I like anytime I can isolate Scott Preisker, 6'4", 250, on a smaller linebacker. I like that matchup.
The Redbirds have done a nice job of exploiting some of those matchups, as you've mentioned, turning Avion Caisson's speed out in the open, and on that play, flipping it out to a bigger, stronger tight end as Todd Berry's offense is showing some pop again on its second drive.
Avion just looks like he has that extra gear. I mean, it's something we were missing so much this year, and he looks like a special player today.
It's Burke again. He's got Willie Watts open. He finds Watts inside the 10 before he's finally dragged out of bounds, pushed out of bounds by Robert Thomas, and they're going to mark it at the 8. The Redbird offense has been diversified as they've used the short passing game to march upfield.
Dusty Burke has already thrown to 6 different receivers, and I really like his patience. I think people forget about Dusty Burke. He's actually a fill-in quarterback. We haven't mentioned it for Kevin Glenn, who was their preseason All-American pick. Kevin blew out a knee in the 5th game of the year this year. Dusty has really picked up the pieces and played well the remainder of the season.
Again, Watts is the lone setback, and Troy Hunter is in motion for the Redbirds. Back to pass is Burke. He goes over the middle of Hunter, who had the ball slip through his hands. Again, some pursuit there. This is about the spot where the Redbird offensive drive initially was bogged down on that first drive when the Redbirds got inside the 10, and then a sack pushed Illinois State back, and Jake Strader missed a field goal.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. This is the actual first incompletion by Dusty Burke. He was 10 for 10 going into that play. That ball actually could have been caught. I don't think Troy Hunter was expecting it so quickly, as you see Scott Preisker taking this play out of the game.
He and Willie Watts go to the Redbird sideline, and Avion Caisson comes in. He's the lone setback now on 3rd and 7 as the crowd is getting into it here. That's Hunter again in motion, and it's Burke. Spinning and on the option, flips out to Caisson. He's got the speed around the corner, but he's tackled nicely at about the 5-yard line. Jim Emanuel, the middle linebacker, 6-foot senior, with the tackle there, and that saved a touchdown.
Well, this is what they love about Emanuel. He can run sideline to sideline. 92 tackles coming into this game. As you see, big number 44 running down Avion Caisson. Illinois State will now be 3 yards short of the first down. Coach Todd Berry elects to go for the touchdown or the first down here on 4th down.
On 4th and 4, and we've seen this before, Todd Berry is opting to go for it. On 4th and 19 last week against Colgate, he went for it and got a touchdown out of it on a pass to John Laurenti. So on 4th and 4, it's a screen pass, and it's out in the open, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown for the Redbirds, who convert again on 4th down, and it's Steve Castro, but there's a flag on the play.
It'll be interesting right here. They may get a hold by one of the Illinois State receivers on the outside. This could bring it back. That's exactly what you're going to get.
So the penalty negates the touchdown, which was a nicely executed screen pass out to Steve Castro, who wasn't touched as he got into the end zone, and Todd Berry can't believe it.
Yeah, you see the frustration right there by Coach Berry. This will back him up another 10 yards. So it will be 4th now, and I would imagine that Coach Berry will still go for it here on 4th down.
We'll see where they mark it with the penalty. The Redbird offense, again, not afraid to perform on 4th down. And Todd Berry is showing complete confidence in his offense by keeping it on the field and not, at least at this point, electing to go for the field goal.
Here's the call right here.
On the offense, 3 yards to the previous spot.
So it'll be 10 yards marked from the line of scrimmage, and that's going to push Illinois State back outside the 15. And again, here's another look.
Well, they might have gotten Jacob Neat there, or they could have actually called Ricky Garrett as well. It looks like both of them were locked on and could have been holding. Tough call against Illinois State, as now Jake Strader will attempt a 32-yard field goal.
It's about from the distance that he missed earlier today. The snap is good, and the kick is up, and this one is through the uprights. And so the Redbirds do cash in this time, march downfield, and get on the board thanks to a Jake Strader field goal. Jake Strader has made a 32-yard field goal. He has missed a 32-yard field goal. It's Hofstra 7 and Illinois State 3 here in Hempstead, New York. Kurt Pegler along with Steve Mays, and the Redbirds will now kick as Strader kicks high and deep, and back to get it is Robert Thomas of Hofstra. He fakes the reverse. He's across the 25 to the 30 before he's finally pushed out of bounds at the Hofstra 32. So the Flying Dutchman will start in relatively fair field position.
Yeah, nice return right there by Robert Thomas. Give Illinois State a little medicine of their own as they attempt to fake the reverse. And Robert Thomas takes it out to the 33-yard line. Great field position for Gio and company here.
It was a 10-play, 71-yard scoring drive for the Redbirds, which ate up 2 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock, and again culminated with a 32-yard field goal by Jake Strader. And the run-and-shoot offense is back on the field now, which was effective enough to march down 80 yards on its first possession. Hofstra scoring on a touchdown run by Jimmy Jones, and it's Giovanni Carmazzi again under center.
Audibling, and once again from the line of scrimmage. You'll see him stand up tall. Everything is audibled at the line of scrimmage.
Carmazzi with a quick pass out in the open, and it's caught in the nice reception there made by Bill Morales, similar to the first play that they ran from scrimmage, but this time the Redbirds snuffed it out and kept it to a short gain as Armando Andrade come up and makes the tackle. We're under 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter, I should say.
I really like the way Armando Andrade is playing cornerback now for Illinois State. This new 4-4 alignment we've talked a little bit about for Illinois State puts a lot of heat on those cornerbacks, and Andrade has really risen to the occasion and played well as a corner for Illinois State.
And this time out of the shotgun, it's Carmazzi. In motion is Steve Jackson, and Carmazzi flips the ball across the middle that time, and it's caught by Roy, and Roy's got a couple of tackles. That's Charlie Adams, and he's in the open, and he's across midfield before he's finally corralled out of bounds by the Redbirds' Sam Young about the 46. The run and shoot continues to chew up yardage upfield for the Redbirds against the Redbird defense. That's Charlie Adams with that reception, and he came clear across the field that time, Steve. He caught it on one end and cut across the green on the other end.
That's exactly right. It's a play we used to call rocket screen. You just isolate it out there on one of the wideouts. The other receivers lock on and block, and that was just a nice run by Charlie Adams.
Carmazzi already has 91 yards passing on 6 of 7 efficiency, so far he has been very effective. And this time on the draw play, he hands to Jimmy Jones on the delay, and he's across the 40-yard line to the Redbird 39.
You know what I'm surprised at right now? It seems like the Illinois State defensive front is really being handled. And we talk so much about them, Damian Gregory, Devon Finn, how they've dominated opposing team offensive line. Right now, they're being dominated. You'll see right here the good line surge by Hofstra's offensive line, and they're really getting a push as Damian Gregory and Devon Finn are getting pushed around.
Derek Smith on that tackle for the Redbirds. It's 2nd and 4 now for the Dutchman, who leads 7-3 as there's 1:40 and counting left in this first quarter. And out of the shotgun, it's Carmazzi. This time he's going to have to ad-lib as he rolls out. He's looking downfield, and he'll tuck it under and keep it and get close to the first down as he's pushed out of bounds about the 37. He'll be a yard and a half or 2 short.
I think that's the dimension right there, Kurt, that the pro scouts like about Giovanni Carmazzi, that he's able to run, get out of the pocket, move a little bit. He's a big guy, 6'3", 220, and we're going to see the replay. Pro scouts like to see this, the quarterback able to pull it down and run a little bit. I think they'd like to see him get out of bounds and not take this big hit at the end of the play, but nice run by Gio.
This is going to be our first look at the Hofstra offense on 3rd down. They didn't have it on their opening drive. It's 3rd and 2. So far, the Hofstra offense is averaging 9.8, almost 10 yards per play.
That's unbelievable.
That's very hard to believe.
Incredible.
Out of the shotgun, it's Carmazzi. He fakes and keeps and rolls, and he's going to try and get it himself, but he's going to be held short of the first down as a couple of Redbirds there snuffed that play out, and give credit to Derek Smith again, who was in on that play. And the Redbirds did a nice job that time of stringing the play out.
That's right. Get a little help by number 46, Scott Cook, as you see him right there. Predetermined run by Gio Carmazzi. And Scott Cook, number 46, is going to come in and make a nice play. You see Ryan Sokola right there, number 12, with a big hit as well.
Okay, it's 4th and 1, and it looks like Hofstra's going to decide to go for it. It's a keeper this time by Carmazzi, and depending on where the spot is, the ball is on the turf, but it's been whistled dead, and we'll just see where the spot is. It looked as if Carmazzi got it, and he is a big-framed guy at 6'3", but we'll see where the spot is.
Well, what's our first guess of the day? I think he's a little bit short. If I look, that is on the 35-yard line, and it looks like the marker is a little bit past the 35-yard line, but Carmazzi did get a nice surge by his offensive lineman.
They'll bring the chains out for a measurement here. Carmazzi, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, is considered one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the country, regardless of division. We're talking 1A, Division 3, Division 1 AA, whatever. And it is a first down.
Well, it goes to show what we know up here. I'll tell you,
good,
that far side marker wasn't even close to where indicating where the ball actually was. But that's actually a big play by Hofstra. Is going to keep this drive alive. 52 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
And the offense stays on the field as Carmazzi converts on 4th down. Under a minute to go, 50 seconds and counting left here in this first quarter, as Hofstra on its second offensive possession has the ball and the lead at 7-3. This time out of the shotgun, again, it's Carmazzi with the lone setback at Jimmy Jones. The run-and-shoot offense with 3 wide receivers at the line of scrimmage, no tight end. And it's going to be Jones. And it's going to be the reverse. Hofstra likes to mix it up, and it was Steve Jackson that time who gained 5 yards before finally being tackled by the Redbirds.
You see an excellent job by Galen Scott, the linebacker, turning the run back in, as Gio will hand the ball off and actually end up being one of the blockers for Steve Jackson. You don't like to see your quarterback do that very often. And Steve takes a big hit, but he's going to be ruled down by contact.
See if they can get this play off. 2 seconds, 1 second left, and they will not get the play off as the time has expired at the end of the first quarter. I think that Giovanni Carmazzi lost track of the time, but Hofstra has had a first quarter to celebrate. 7-3. The Flying Dutchman lead the Redbirds at the end of 1. WMD TV. Kurt Pegler, Steve Mays with you at Hofstra University, where the Flying Dutchman lead Illinois State as we start the second quarter. 7-3 our score. Hofstra with 2nd and 5 at the Redbird 30-yard line. And again, this time it's a drop play, and Jones is stopped up in the backfield as the Redbird defense snuffed that play out. Big Scott Cook, almost simultaneously as the time Jones was handed the ball, was right there to make the tackle.
That's right. Scott Cook isolates on Jimmy Jones right here. His sole purpose is to cover him out in a coverage, but right now, Gio will hand off on the draw, and Scott Cook comes in unblocked and really puts a nasty hit on Jimmy Jones.
Derek Smith again in for part of a tackle there, and right now Hofstra has only its second third down opportunity of the afternoon and failed to convert on its first one, so we'll see what happens on 3rd and 8 now as Carmazzi is under center. And back to pass. And his pass is incomplete that time as he flipped it out, intended for Kamal Roy, and the Redbirds hold on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's one right there that Gio would like back. He was forced to throw it off his back foot as Damian Gregory, number 55 for Illinois State, got a nice push up the middle. And Hofstra will be facing 4th down and about 8 yards. They will punt.
Here's another look as you see the pattern. And with the Redbird defense holding now, on to punt is James McCleary for Hofstra. He'll try to angle it. He'll have to kick into the wind, which has picked up a little bit here.
Yeah, I think they're going to take a delay of game, back the punter up a little bit. They've got the ball on the 32-yard line. Take the 5-yard penalty, give the punter a better angle to kick it out of bounds.
That appears to be what they're doing. McCleary's average is about 35 yards. He does have a long of 63 this year, but he has a 35-yard average, and certainly if he can get a little bit more leg on this and back up a little bit, he probably has a better chance of kicking it into the corner.
Well, if you're Illinois State, back for them is Ryan Sokola. You have the 10-yard rule. You will not catch that ball if it goes back behind you past the 10-yard line. And you see Sokola, his feet are right at that 10-yard line.
Sokola ran a punt back for a touchdown last week in the playoff opener against Colgate. This time the kick is down, and it's nicely done as Hofstra downs the ball inside the 5, and the Redbirds are going to be deep in their own territory to start this drive. Nice kick that time by James McCleary. Just a positional kick into the corner. And Hofstra was down it inside the Redbird 5.
Yeah, that's not one that helped the average right there, but it's very important. As once again, Illinois State, 3rd possession of the afternoon, will have it inside their own 20-yard line. They haven't had a problem moving the football. They have had a problem putting it into the end zone as they've only been able to score 3 points here early in the second quarter.
Chris Crank was the man who was down there to down the ball. He's also come up with a big tackle on special teams. He's one of the better special teams players. And now the Redbirds on offense. Hand the ball off to Willie Watts, who gets the Redbirds a little bit of breathing room across the 5-yard line. We'll call it a short gain of 2. Jim Emanuel in on the tackle.
We could talk all day about Jim Emanuel. He's a special player for Hofstra, number 44, the linebacker. He really gets after it. He's the emotional leader, he and Magna, for this Hofstra defense. Quite a player. Keep an eye on him.
So the Redbirds now 2nd and 7 after a gain of 3 yards, and Dusty Burke looks to be changing the play at the line of scrimmage now, audibleizing as the Redbirds are at their own 6-yard line. And they hand off again. This time it goes to Walter James. He's got a couple of blockers. He stretches the defense out, and he's going to be very close to a first down. The Redbirds have all 3 of their running backs healthy, and that's a great sign when you have Avion Cason, Walter James, and Willie Watts all available and ready to come into the game, and Todd Berry thinks that's a big advantage.
That's right. It's about 2,000 yards, 2,100 yards worth of rushing that those guys have combined for this year, which we're going to see the replay from the end zone as Walter James is able to stick it up in the middle right there, pick up a first down, and keep the drive going.
When you count Dusty Burke's rushing totals in the front in the first quarter, you see that the Redbirds have had 4 different men run the football, and it is a first down. And on 1st and 10, the pitch goes to Cason, as we mentioned him, and he gets outside after some nice blocking. The Redbirds running that toss sweep effectively to the near sidelines, and it's going to be a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Redbirds.
Boy, he receives a great block from Mike Rodbro right here, a guy that Todd Berry thinks can be an All-American in his system. Rodbro, number 68, able to get out in front of Cason and put a huge block for a big gain.
7 yards.
I really like this offensive line Illinois State has. They don't have a senior on the offensive line. Really, they only have 2 seniors on the entire offense. That would be Garrett and Preisker, as we see Garrett getting the completion right here.
He gets the completion from Dusty Burke, and he's across the 30-yard line to the 31. It'll be another first down as the Redbirds are moving the chains.
I think it'll be real interesting as this year comes to an end if Ricky Garrett will get some looks at from the NFL scouts. I think he's got the size. I think his question mark right now is the speed. He's got some moves, as you see right there. That one picks up another first down. Ricky's had an excellent senior year, if you ask me.
And Dusty Burke continues to have an excellent game. 11 of 12, just 1 incompletion, 128 yards passing so far for the redshirt freshman from Tuscola. 1st and 10 for the Redbirds. It's 7-3 Hofstra. Over the middle, and the pass is caught by Scott Preisker, but he's going to be wrapped up for a very short game. Jim Emanuel in on that tackle. As we've mentioned, he's going to be a part of this lineup, and Casey Mahoney also in there, and the Hofstra senior has been outstanding, Emanuel, so far this afternoon.
They have a little isolation screen right here. You can see Preisker coming across the middle, but Casey Mahoney does not buy it with a little help from Emanuel, and they're going to give him a forward movement to about the 33-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 7.
So a short gain, and again, the efficiency numbers for Dusty Burke continue. He just has 1 incompletion so far this afternoon.
I like how cool he is.
He's been
really
very
just
calm.
Doesn't feel the pressure. I mean, that kid's got a lot of pressure filling the shoes of Kevin Glenn, the quarterback that is out for Illinois State.
And this time he's throwing deep, and he's got Ricky Garrett down there who makes the catch in Hofstra territory, and there's a flag on the play, and there could be defensive pass interference on top of that. Garrett had his defender beat. Robert Thomas was down there, a one-on-one matchup.
That's right, a matchup Illinois State loves, Kurt. Ricky Garrett goes 6'3", Robert Thomas goes 5'9", 5'10". They list him at 5'10", but he's closer to 5'8". And I think Illinois State's going to get the call right here. Defensive pass interference. They will refuse that. It'll be another first down for Illinois State.
Ricky Garrett has already caught 3 balls for 29 yards in the Redbird offense. Going deep, actually, for the first time, looking downfield, more of a pass downfield instead of these possession screen passes.
That's right. I'm surprised they haven't tried the downfield passing game, or you call it the vertical passing game. But obviously, Coach Berry knows a little more about the Hofstra defense than I do, and has seen something in the short passing game.
3 wide receivers lined up on 1st and 10 for Illinois State. Dusty Burke trying to spin out of a move, and he's dragged down that time. As this play was snuffed out, it was Malik Corbett in for the sack for Hofstra.
State's right in a unique formation again, Kurt, where they stack 3 receivers out to the right-hand side. A formation that I think really started from the Jerry Rice days, if you remember that, Mississippi Valley State. That's the offense that Jerry Rice, the receiver at the 49ers, they ran in college. And Illinois State taking a page out of their playbook, but this one doesn't work. Because what a big push by the defensive lineman from Hofstra.
And Burke is dragged down. A loss of 4. It'll be 2nd and 14. The Redbirds trail 7-3. Burke again back to pass. All the receivers appear to be covered, so Burke tucks it under and runs to the 35-yard line before he's finally dragged down.
Boy, it's one of those if Dusty could have gotten his eyes up, Kurt. He had John Laurenti down the middle of the field with not a defender within 10 yards, and Laurenti was just waving his arms, but Dusty was under a little pressure and was able to pick up a couple yards. Now it'll be another 3rd down.
It'll be a big 3rd down play now. It'll be 3rd and 8 as the crowd here at Hofstra gets on its feet. 3rd and 8, and Burke out of the shotgun now. The Redbirds at the Hofstra 35 and trailing 7-3 with 9.5 to go. The Redbirds have completed just one of their 3 third down conversions. The pass goes to Ricky Garrett. He's going to be held short of the 1st down. A nice play as Patrick Dorvalis was in on the tackle, but there is a flag on the play.
Boy, I think the last-minute stretch by Ricky Garrett, I think they may have given him, I don't think they counted his knee being down at the 26-yard line. They're going to give him a movement up to the 25, so that will be another 1st down.
And I'm sorry, there was no flag on the play, but it did appear that last stretch, as you mentioned, Steve, that the long arms of Ricky Garrett earned that 1st down.
That pays to be 6'3" or 4. They had a great stretch by Ricky, and he did get the 1st down. Dusty Burke, the quarterback, continues to roll. He is now 14 of 15 for 170 yards.
And we're still in the 1st half. 1st and 10 for the Redbirds now. And it's Burke rolling out. He's looking for Garrett, and he flips it up, and the pass is tipped in. That ball was almost picked off. John Laurenti was the intended receiver.
Well, he was looking for Laurenti the whole way. I think if Ricky Garrett hooks us up in the zone out here on the right-hand side, he's going to be wide open. But Dusty Burke did not see him. Very fortunate there wasn't a turnover right here. You see Dusty once again on the boot action. And he's able to get outside, but really that one got away from him. You don't like to see the quarterback throw it late over the middle, and that was a floater.
Just Burke's 2nd incompletion of the afternoon. It's 2nd and 10 now for the Redbirds at the Hofstra 25. We're seeing an I formation only for the 2nd time this afternoon. We don't see that often in the Redbird offense. Burke at the line of scrimmage. Short drop. Pass out in the open. He's got Preisker, and that's going to be a touchdown if nobody can get to him. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. That was Jacob Need. I'm sorry. I thought initially it was Scott Preisker, but it was Jacob Need, and he was wide open on that play.
He really was. If you look at Jake right there, it looks like he's about 240 pounds, but let's tell the viewers that he does have a pad on there protecting his kidneys. He had a little problem with mono, as we mentioned earlier, so they're trying to protect those kidneys and his internal organs, and that's a nice catch by Jake Need. Illinois State, once again, 1st and goal here at the 5.
And Robert Thomas, the only defender that saved that from being a touchdown. Now again, for the 3rd time in 3 drives, the Redbirds find themselves inside the Hofstra 10, and it's Willie Watts who gets the ball and up to the end zone, and a touchdown for the Redbirds.
Well, finally, the Illinois State lineman, you see him coming to Willie Watts and congratulating him on that one, but that's one that they can congratulate themselves. They got a nice push, and boy, did Illinois State need that.
Willie Watts gets the ball in the end zone for the 1st time for the Redbirds this afternoon, and here's another look.
Yeah, nice push right there by Teddy Wolf, the offensive center, Rod Bro, Hama, the whole offensive line got a nice push, and now Jake Strader will attempt to put point number 10 on the board for Illinois State.
And he is successful in doing so. And the Redbird offense, which has marched inside the Hofstra 10-yard line on 3 separate occasions, converts on a 12-play, 96-yard drive, and Illinois State now leads Hofstra 10-7 with 8:38 to go in the 1st half. First time this afternoon, the Redbirds getting a short touchdown run here from Willie Watts, and it's a 10-7 Illinois State advantage as the Redbirds march downfield. Actually, the Redbird offense has been outstanding. 3 separate offensive drives inside the 10-yard line, but only 10 points on the board.
That's right. A lot of that should be attributed to Dusty Burke, as he is now 15 of 17 for 191 yards. Illinois State's offense continues to roll along as Jake Strader will kick this one out of bounds. Hofstra will have the option of taking the ball at the 35 or having them re-kick. I would imagine, Kurt, that they'll take it at the 35.
That has been one trouble spot with Strader's game so far this year, is that he's had a difficult time off times on the kickoff of keeping that ball in play.
That's exactly right. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, the inconsistency. Like last week against Colgate, he kicked 3 of them out of the end zone. And then the next one, his 4th one, he snap hooks it kind of like one of your drivers.
Exactly.
In golf. And, does something like this. It's kind of been a consistency thing with Jake Strader.
And so now it's Gio Carmazzi back under center for Hofstra. The very fine senior quarterback so far has completed 6 of his 8 passes for 91 yards in his first couple of possessions, and the run and shoot now appears to have 5 receivers, as the other setback, Jimmy Jones, is lined up as a receiver as well. But he's going to get the ball on a delay, and he's across the 40-yard line before finally a host of Redbird tacklers hone in on him, but give him a gain of 6 yards.
That's right. Really the first time we've seen Hofstra this afternoon. A little trap play on the inside. They're going to see Sam Young is going to come up and actually make the play right there, number 30 for Illinois State. But Hofstra is mixing it up a little bit offensively.
And now out of the shotgun on 2nd and 3. Carmazzi again at the controls. This is a very potent offense, and we're seeing both ends of the offensive spectrum today. Both teams moving the ball well. Flips the ball out, this time to Jones in the flat, and he's near the 45. He's going to be awfully close to a first down and maybe just a half-yard short, pending the spot.
Boy, he is really close once again. I think Derek Smith, number 37 for Illinois State, could have made a play on this. He recognized the fact they were going to run the quick hit out here, a little flare route. Just didn't react quick enough, and I think they are going to get one more first down.
Yep. It is a first down for Hofstra. And Carmazzi has now completed 7 of his 9 tosses so far this afternoon. Both quarterbacks have been very efficient with the football.
Tim Beschel, number 44, is now in for the Illinois State Redbirds at middle linebacker. A little better cover guy than Tim Angston is.
Charlie Adams that time on the quick out. He makes the catch, and he's in Redbird territory before he's finally pushed out of bounds at the 47. We should mention that the run and shoot is an offense really of ball-controlled passing, where it's 7, 8, 9-yard routes, Steve, when this is the way that Hofstra moves up the field.
That's right. Everybody hears that, and you think, they're trying to hit the big play every play, but it really isn't the case with Hofstra. They will run the ball out of this formation. They'll run boots, they'll run tosses, they'll run traps. We've seen that, as we're going to see a false start right here on number 77, Corey Holland for Hofstra. That'll back them up 5 yards.
The Dutchmen looked a little confused. They had 3 wide receivers on the near side trying to get themselves aligned, and while Carmazzi was looking at those wide receivers, the ball was snapped, and it will be a false start against the Dutchmen.
It does get confusing for those offensive linemen as Carmazzi comes up to the line of scrimmage. As you can see him making an audible right here. The offensive linemen oftentimes cannot hear that, make a little flinch there, and you'll get called for a false start.
7:16 to go here in the first half. It's 10-7 in favor of Illinois State. The winner of this game moves into the national semifinals. Carmazzi under center now on 2nd and 7. And again, he's back in the pocket. And he's throwing downfield. It's intended for Adams, and he's got him, but it's in and out of his hands. He had a completion had he come down with it. Armando Andrade on the coverage for the Redbirds.
Well, that's something you haven't seen all year out of Charlie Adams. Drop. That ball is once again thrown right on the mark by Gio Carmazzi. And there's the replay. Great end zone shot. Great camera work right there. Man, you got to make that catch if you're trying to get into the national semifinals.
And that's really the first time that we've seen Carmazzi air it out and throw it downfield. He certainly had his receiver, but the short 6- and 7-yard patterns will oftentimes open up a play like that.
It's going to be hard for them to throw deep against Illinois State. Those cornerbacks are playing off about 9 to 12 yards, Kurt, so it makes it difficult for the long ball.
3rd and 7, and so far the Dutchmen are 0-2 on 3rd down conversions. And Carmazzi throws out again, and this time it's a completed pass as Kamal Roy comes down with it inside the 40. They'll spot it at the 37-yard line, and it will indeed be a first down for the Dutchmen.
Well, this is the play right here that Illinois State has been susceptible to all year in the defensive secondary. Look at the cushion out there on the outside. That's a 7-yard cushion, and if you've got a decent quarterback with any arm, he can put it right on the mark, and it's just they're going to march the ball down the field. You've got to tighten up on those corners.
Alfred Corbin exploited on that play. We should mention that he does lead the Redbirds in interceptions this year, but in that point he was probably playing too far off. 1st and 10 now for Hofstra inside the Redbird 40-yard line, and out of the shotgun again it's Carmazzi. And he's back to pass, and he flips the ball over the middle, and he has a completion for a short gain, and it's going to be Bill Morales who comes down with that ball.
Tim Beschel on the tackle for Illinois State, number 44. as Hofstra continues the no-huddle offense right here against Illinois State. Makes it tough on the defense to get your signals in. As you see Beshel looking at his wristband. All the players have wristbands, Kurt, with the plays, defensive coverages on there. And they're all looking down saying, what are we doing now?
10 of 13 for 120 yards so far is Giovanni Carmazzi. Under 6.5 here to go in this first half. 10-7 Illinois State, but Hofstra moving the football. And the pass again this time is caught as Hofstra is moving the ball effectively out in the flat at Steve Jackson, who is Carmazzi's favorite receiver.
Yeah, and he's a player that you do not want Derek Smith, one of your outside linebackers, lining up against. We talked a lot about that yesterday. How are they going to defend this run and shoot? Oftentimes you'll get linebackers matched up against wideouts, and that's not good for a defense. And right there, another first down for Hofstra.
And the Flying Dutchmen continue to move the ball. So far on this drive, it's been a 7-play, 40-yard drive for the Flying Dutchmen, this time under center. It's Carmazzi, as he appears again to be audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. And it's a draw play on the delay. Stopped momentarily was Jimmy Jones. Now he's stripped, and the Redbirds have the ball on a fumble recovery.
I think they're going to give that to Tim Beshel. He's the guy that actually makes the initial hit on the play. Beshel stays with it, and he's going to get the fumble recovery, stopping a big drive by Hofstra.
Boy, initially it looked like it was going to be about a 2-yard loss in the backfield. Give credit to Jimmy Jones, kept his feet going. But once he crossed the line of scrimmage, he was stripped from behind, and Tim Beshel did a nice job of coming down with it for the Redbirds. We'll step aside. 6:12 to go here in the first half. The Redbirds will have the football when we come back. They lead at 10-7. Redbird Arena, it's Purdue and ISU, 7:05 at Redbird Arena, and we'll bring it to you live right here on CBS 31. This afternoon, it's college football as the Redbirds and Hofstra are battling in the 1AA playoffs. And Steve, here's that fumble recovery. Tim Beshel in on this play.
That's right. I think that was Devin Finn that actually got his big paw in there, number 96. Beshel gets the recovery. Illinois State finally able to stop the Hofstra drive.
And now it's Dusty Burke under center for the Redbirds. And on the counter play, it's going to be Willie Watts that time, the man who had the Redbird touchdown, a short gain of 3 yards.
Little counter gap action by Dusty Burke. Play wasn't very successful, but Todd Berry is really going deep into his playbook right now and bringing out about anything that he thinks can be successful.
Under 6 minutes and counting here left in the first half. It's 10-7 in favor of Illinois State. Both offenses have been shining thus far, but a Hofstra turnover deep in the Redbird territory has given the ball back to Illinois State. And it's Dusty Burke again with a couple of wide receivers to the near side. And it's going to be the option play as he spins and pitches. And it's going to be really stuffed that time. The play was stretched out that time as Walter James took the ball on the option, but really didn't have any place to go.
No, he really did not. I mean, that play, counter option action by Dusty Burke. You see it right here. The backside guard, Hamill, will pull. And this play is not going to work from the beginning. Now it'll be 3rd and long for Illinois State, 3rd and about 8.
Give credit that time to the Hofstra defense for stretching that play out. And it's a 3rd and long now for the Redbirds. It's 3rd and 7.
I should mention that's a play last week. They had a lot of success against Colgate. Dusty Burke was able to run that for big yardage.
The Redbirds 2 of 4 thus far on 3rd down conversion opportunities. Back to pass is Burke. He throws out in the flat to Avion Cason, but we've got a flag on the play prior to the snap as the play was whistled dead before it could really originate. That's likely either a delay or a false start against the Redbirds. Typically that play.
And they're going to get a delay of game right here, unfortunately, because Avion Cason was going to be able to pick up the first down. Now it will be 3rd and about 12 or 13, and that changes the whole philosophy of the play.
Thus far, the Redbird offense has chalked up 240 total yards, and Burke's responsible for almost 200 of that. 191 passing yards for Dusty Burke on 15 of 17. So he has been incredibly sharp. And out of the shotgun now on 3rd and 12, it's Burke. And he pumps once and now airs it out, and he's going deep.
Got him.
And he's got his man. Is it a catch? It is a catch. And the Redbird bench is going crazy because Steve Costro comes down with the ball on a big, big play for the Redbirds.
Give some credit to the Illinois State offensive linemen. They really gave Dusty Burke a lot of protection here as he was able to sit in the pocket and Castro picks up a huge gain for Illinois State on 3rd and long.
This is a guy that's averaging 14.5 yards per catch, so he is a big play guy. And here's another look as we isolate on Steve Castro.
That's right. You saw this triple stack formation once again, and Castro just runs underneath this Dusty Burke pass. Dusty just continues to roll.
He just outran the double coverage there.
Right.
So Burke has the ball now, 1st and 10 for the Redbirds, a 3-point lead at 10-7. He flips the ball out to Avion Cason. He gets a big block from Ricky Garrett. He cuts back upfield before he's tripped up inside the 15. Big block that time from Garrett.
Yeah, Avion Cason better go up to Ricky Garrett and give him a little thanks there right there. Ricky knocks his defensive back on his back, and Illinois State is exploiting something on the right-hand side of the defense for Hofstra as Avion puts it in another gear. Once again, Illinois State back inside the 20-yard line.
The speed of Avion Cason so far has killed Hofstra, and again, give credit to Ricky Garrett, who comes up with a big block and a big play for the Redbirds, who now have it 1st and 10 inside the Hofstra 15, trying to improve on a 3-point lead. It's 10-7 Redbirds. And this time it's going to be in the backfield as Cason is going to be tripped up. He's going to get to about the 10-yard line.
Pickup of 3 yards. Avion Cason, a little sprint draw action right there. Illinois State runs that play. Keep them honest a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised right here if they take a shot with Ricky Garrett on a fade route in the back of the end zone.
Damon Sinacrapi with the tackle. This current drive is 5 plays and 68 yards with a couple of big plays. 1 to Castro and 1 to Cason on pass plays from Dusty Burke. We approach the 4-minute mark left here in the first half. And it's Burke under center now on 2nd and 8. And on the bootleg, he might keep this. He's going to throw across the body, and that play is caught that time by Scott Preisker for a short gain. He's about the 5-yard line. The Redbirds are going to be a couple of yards short of a first down.
That's a tough pass to complete. Quarterback throwing it back against the grain, back against his body. Burke is able to complete it. Now it'll be 3rd and 2. You're going to see the rollout here by Dusty Burke. This boot action, we've seen a lot of that, more than usual for Illinois State. I thought Dusty was going to take off right there, but Preisker just found an open seam as Dusty took a huge hit at the end of that play.
3rd and 3, a big play for the Redbird offense. The ball is spotted at the Hofstra 5. And Burke hands to Willie Watts, who's stuffed up and wrapped up that time by the Hofstra defense.
I'm surprised Illinois State has not been able to run the ball a little more effective against Hofstra. Now another decision time for Todd Berry. What do you do on 4th and 4 here? Do you kick the field goal or do you go for it?
Jim Emanuel, he's been all over the place, and he comes up with a big play there, turning away Willie Watts. And the Redbirds are opting on 4th down again to go for it. Now, the last time the Redbirds were in a similar position, they did score a touchdown, which was called back on a penalty, and then had to settle for a Jake Strader touchdown, or a field goal, I should say.
I think Hofstra is going to call a timeout right here.
They are. Hofstra calls a timeout to talk strategy and see what Todd Berry's team does. We'll step aside. It's 10-7 Redbirds, 2:53 to go till halftime. Back here in Hempstead, New York, Kurt Pegler and former ISU quarterback Steve Mays for this afternoon's 1AA quarterfinal. Illinois State leading Hofstra 10-7, 2:53 here to go in the first half. The Redbird offense has marched down to the 6-yard line, and on 4th and 4, Todd Berry has elected to go for it. Dusty Burke under center now. The crowd on its feet, trying to spur the Flying Dutchman defense on. He might be trying to earn a delay here or try to get somebody off sides, and he's going to turn and call timeout. That may have been the play, see if he couldn't get somebody to jump off sides.
I think it was. Illinois State brought an extra tight end right there. Tom Bardwell, number 48, came in. Illinois State's going to elect to run the clock down, call the timeout, and I believe they will probably bring Jake Strader on now.
We'll find out what they do when we come back. 10-7 ISU, 9 of 20 going for it on 4th down, and that's the case here. 4th and 4 from the 6. Dusty Burke is back to pass. He's looking for a receiver. He flips it for a touchdown.
Castro.
Steve Castro, who came up with the big play on the drive, a 43-yard pickup, responds at the end of the drive with a short touchdown play on 4th down for the Redbirds.
That's the sole job right there of Steve Castro. Scraped the back of the end zone. I thought initially, Kurt, that he was going to go to Avion Cason out in the flat. I'm sitting there screaming, motioning, hey, out to the flat, and you see Castro right there in the back of the end zone. Dusty Burke, once again, just patience. finds Castro for the touchdown.
And it was Rob Levates of Hofstra that was really mismatched in that play. It's hard when you have one of your outside linebackers matched up against a wide receiver. And Jake Strader's point after is good, and the Redbirds now have scored 17 consecutive points, trailing at 1 point, 7-0 to Hofstra. The Redbirds are now up a 17-7.
That's right. And remember, this is turning points off of a turnover, and that was very big because they stopped the Hofstra drive on the fumble recovery back here, and then you really capitalize, Kurt. You take it down for the touchdown.
Steve Castro responsible for 49 of the 78 yards on that drive. He had a big 43-yard catch on a long third down conversion, and he catches that 6-yard TD pass. 8-play, 78 yards, and a 3-minute and 25-second drive. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you're not impressed right now with Dusty Burke, then you really have to get checked up or something. This guy is thrown for 270 yards in the first half alone, and that touchdown.
That's right. It's unbelievable how Dusty Burke each game seems to gain more confidence. You see Steve Castro right there on the sideline, but Dusty Burke is the man here in the first half. And he is going to be very exciting as the years go on for Illinois State. I mean, let's remember, this guy's got 3 more years in this program.
And Joe Gardy, the Hofstra coach, is trying to rally his troops, which, again, at one point, led 7-0. Hofstra marched down the field on its first offensive set, a very impressive 80-yard drive to score to go ahead 7-0. But the ISU offense has matched the run and shoot of the Dutchman pound for pound. Jake Strader slipped on that kick, and the ball is loose, and it's on the turf, and it looks like the Redbirds have it. No, they're going to say Hofstra does. And look at the Redbird bench. They don't. Now they back and forth.
Oh, they're going to give it to Illinois State.
To Illinois State. The initial indication was that it was going to Hofstra.
We'll have to see this one again. I'm not sure exactly who comes up with the recovery.
You know, the whole play started, Steve, when Jake Strader slipped on the turf. It did rain this morning. It is a little slick out there, and it was just a knuckleball that nobody seemed to be able to handle that time.
That's right. Tough ball to field right there. I think that's
it was Robert
Bernard
Thomas.
Killingsworth right there making an initial play on it. And is that Troy Hunter, I believe, number 3 that falls on the ball? I believe it is.
Yeah, and it was number 3 for Hofstra, Robert Thomas, who started the whole thing by mishandling the kick. So now the Redbirds are back in business, already up 17-7 with 2.5 minutes to go here in the half. 1st and 10 now. At the 15, a rollout now. And Burke has an open receiver, and the play is caught that time. Initially, we didn't know if they were going to give it a catch or not, but it was. A catch by Jacob Neat. Just a short gain that time as he rolled out, and actually the ball was thrown low, and Jacob did a nice job to corral that one.
He sure did. Illinois State, with 2:14 left here in the second quarter, does have 2 timeouts left. The clock is not really a factor with the ball on the 12-yard line, 13-yard line, pardon me.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Redbird offense as Dusty Burke continues to pass very efficiently here in the first half. And back to pass again is Burke. And he flips it out in the fat. He's got Avion Cason, who turns inside the 10 to the 5 before he's finally shaking out of bounds. And depending on the spot, he's going to be awfully close to a first down.
He will definitely get the first down here at about the 6-yard line. As you see a good look at Dusty Burke right there. Now 21 of 23. Going to pick up a nice first down, keep the drive alive. Looking downfield. The thing I like about Dusty, Kurt, is how he looks off people. Last minute, he flips it out here to Avion Cason, and Avion puts that shoulder down and gets the first down.
He was one-on-one there with Robert Thomas, and Thomas finally pushed him out, and it is indeed a first down. So the Redbirds have the ball now, 1st and goal from the 5 with 1:47 to go here in the opening half of play. And Burke hands to Willie Watts, who already has 1 touchdown. He spins, and he's got his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon on a similar yardage run, a short 5-yard run initially, and another 6-yard run for his touchdown. And Willie Watts has a 2-touchdown afternoon.
That's right. The Illinois State offense continues to roll right there. Willie Watts took a huge hit. I believe that was number 91, James Magda. You're going to see this. Watch the big hit right here. But just do the spin, get in that end zone, keep those legs running. You always hear about running backs keeping your legs moving. Illinois State, 1 more touchdown.
An impressive drive, and it just took 1 minute and 6. 3 plays, 15 yards. Redbirds in the end zone again, and Jake Strader on to tack on the point after. That is good. And the Redbirds have marched downfield now and have scored 24 consecutive points, trailing at 1.7 zip. The Redbirds now own a 24-7 lead, taking advantage of a turnover deep in Flying Dutchman territory.
That's right. Second turnover. They're able to put points on the board after, and that's very important if you're going to get deeper and deeper into the 1AA playoffs. Now 141 left to go in the second quarter. Let's see what happens.
And the nice contingent of ISU fans that made the trip from Central Illinois, all on their feet right now, and Joe Gardy's trying to figure out exactly what has happened to his team, which appeared very impressive on its opening drive, but a couple of turnovers have killed the Dutchmen.
That's right. They just haven't had the football. Gio Carmazzi, their quarterback, and his offense, that run and shoot, has not been on the field here in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this second quarter. And that's, if you're an Illinois State fan, you like that. And you like this right here, Illinois State getting into the touchdown, into the end zone for a 24-7 lead.
And so Strader again will kick. The whole thing started when Jake Strader slipped on the last kickoff and just hit a little knuckleballer that turned into a turnover for the Redbirds, and they've cashed in with a touchdown. So now 1:41 left on the clock as Strader again to kick to Hofstra, and back to get it deep again is Robert Thomas. He was the man who fumbled the last time. This time he takes it out across the 20 before he's wrapped up at the 22 for the Redbirds, and Galen Scott in on the tackle for Illinois State. Now we'll see what the run and shoot can come up with in the final 134.
That's right. We've seen that offense be able to move a lot this afternoon. Don't be surprised if they're able to move the football down the field. Illinois State has got to tighten up those corners and play good pass defense here with the last minute 34.
Todd Berry's team the last couple of years has really taken advantage of turnovers. That's the reason why the Redbirds have made back-to-back playoff appearances and are actually having back-to-back winning seasons for only the first time since 1972.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That's hard to believe.
Outstanding, though, what they've done.
Here's Carmazzi as he flips the ball over the middle. Jackson, that time the play was snuffed out as 4 Redbirds were in on that tackle, including Devin Finn. The Redbirds really smoked that one, didn't they?
How do you like that? 6'7", 280 out in coverage right there on Steve Jackson. And Devin Finn gets a big paw out, is able to pull Jackson down for the short gain, or actually a 2-yard loss.
That's a play that the Dutchmen have used really effectively this afternoon as they've sent receivers across the middle and turned 5-yard plays into 25-yard
Exactly
plays.
right.
1:04 and counting now. Hofstra does have 2 timeouts left, as do the Redbirds. Under a minute to go now, as Giovanni Carmazzi's at the line of scrimmage, barking out the call. He's got 4 wide receivers now at the line of scrimmage, and only Jimmy Jones as his setback. And Jones gets the call. And he's going to go 2 yards before he's stuffed up, and some of the fans are booing as they believe that the Hofstra offense is getting awfully conservative in the final minutes.
Illinois State should call a timeout right here with 40 seconds left. They'll get a chance, one more chance, at least try and block a punt or something like that. They're going to elect to do that, take a timeout.
That was a smart call. The Redbirds last week blocked a kick and returned it for a touchdown. Also returned a punt for a touchdown. The special teams last week were outstanding, and the special teams for the Redbirds really have been outstanding all season long, and already coming up with a turnover, just as we mentioned on the last kickoff.
Well, that's right. Todd Berry uses that as an offensive weapon. Now, they look to score. I mean, he mentions it quite a few times in his press conferences. It's not one of those things they're trying to play for field position. They're trying to score off their punt return, kick return, and the other special teams sets that they have. And Todd Berry, you've got to love what he does for this Illinois State team.
23-23 in his 4th season at ISU, which might not sound outstanding until you look at what he's done the last 2 years. 18-6 over the last couple of years, and a couple of playoff berths last year. The first time ever in school history the Redbirds make it to the NCAA Division I AA playoffs, and this year have already gone as far as any team in university history as they find themselves in the quarterfinals after their home win. It was nice to get a home playoff game last week against Colgate.
That's right. There's a potential next week for having another game. Illinois State, as you've mentioned, Kurt, will play the winner of the UMass-Georgia Southern game. If Georgia Southern wins that game, they will go down to Georgia Southern and play. If UMass wins, UMass comes to Illinois State. So let's hope that can happen. 40
seconds to go. Hofstra down 17 with the football at its own 20-yard line. The Redbirds have 1 timeout left. Here's Carmazzi. He flips the ball out. He's going for Adams again, but the ball is incomplete.
Well, that's just as good as the timeout right there. If you're an Illinois State Redbird fan, that stops the clock with 34 seconds left. You can try and block a punt or try and return it and kick a field goal. So let's see what Illinois State elects to do.
when you think about the Redbirds scoring opportunities, they've really had a scoring opportunity at every time that they've had the football. They just didn't cash in the first time with the missed field goal. But they've really taken advantage of their opportunities with the football thanks to Dusty Burke's passing efficiency, and he's going to get another crack at it. The Redbirds have 1 timeout left and will get the ball back likely after this punt. There's 34 seconds left.
Well, if you're the Hofstra punt team, you better locate John Laurenti, number 26, because he's the guy that likes to go after the blocks.
The kick is up, and Ryan Zakola dropped the ball initially, and it's on the turf, but he gets it right back. So the sure hands of Ryan Zakola initially dropped the ball, but he's able to jump on it. That could have been dangerous, but the Redbirds will have the ball at their own 42 with 26 seconds to go and 1 timeout left. And there appears to be an injury. In fact, that's the kicker, James McClary, who's walking off gingerly. He may have been hit after that punt because he is appearing to favor one of his feet there, one of his legs, as he's coming off very gingerly.
Well, how often do you see a punter with both ankles taped like that? I mean,
yeah,
I'm surprised that he's able to punt. He's got both ankles taped. That's unique for a punter, I guess.
All right, 26 seconds to go. Dusty Burke out of the shotgun. His pass is caught, complete. Did he get out of bounds? We'll see. It was Castro again who's been outstanding. He caught the last touchdown pass. He makes the catch. It's a first down. The clock has stopped as Castro was able to lunge out of bounds. And that's what you want to do. You want to run your plays to the sidelines because getting out of bounds will also stop the clock. When you've only got 1 timeout left,
right.
You at least have to save it to allow your special teams to get on the field if you're going to get a field goal.
Exactly right. Now they do have the ball on the other side of the 50. Let's see. They probably need 25, 30 more yards to at least be in range for a Jake Strader field goal.
Burke this time flips the ball out in the flat. It's Avion Cason. He's to the far sidelines, and he's pushed out of bounds after another first down. And the Redbirds have run that little screen pass play to Avion Cason to perfection all afternoon, Steve.
That's right. You can't talk enough about how well those wide receivers block for Illinois State. They just lock on, and they get after it right there. They get a huge block. Watch number 19, Jacob Neat. He actually makes an initial block right. I don't know if we're going to see it. We see him on the ground right there, and he actually comes back and makes another block as Avion Cason picks up a huge first down.
Cason is one of only 3 players in the country with 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season, but he's been deadly on the offense for the Redbirds so far. And now Burke flips the ball out. That pass was intended for Walter James. It's incomplete. It stops the clock with just 8 seconds left. Again, as we mentioned, the Redbirds have 1 timeout, and they need to get deeper into Hofstra territory to give Jake Strader a legitimate crack at a field goal here.
Dusty Burke has 302 yards passing here in the first half.
That's unbelievable.
On 23 of 27 efficiency. That's unbelievable. He has a long pass, the 43-yarder to Steve Castro, but he continues to rack up the yardage.
Now, the longest field goal that Jake Strader has under his belt this year is a 43-yarder. He's got a 43-yarder, so the Redbirds would have to get about another 7 or so yards to give him another crack at that distance, but let's see if they can get closer now. 7 seconds and counting. Burke is in trouble, and he's going to go down, and the Redbirds will have to use their final timeout if they get it off. There's 1 tick left on the clock. They call timeout with just 1 second left. And they'll mark the ball at the 35-yard line.
That'll be a 52-yard field goal from here for Jake Strader. He does have a slight wind at his back, but this is well within the range of Jake Strader. I remember going to preseason practice early in August, and he was able to kick 60, 65 yards. So he's got the leg, but he has not attempted any at this distance this year. I think, Kurt, we were talking about it. He's only attempted, what, 2 field goals over 40 yards this year?
Yes.
1 of 2?
1 of 2 in the 40-yard area, so we'll see exactly what he has to offer. And the Redbirds, as we've said, are not afraid of going for it on 4th down, but when you've just got 1 second left, you've got to either throw the ball into the end zone and hope for a defensive penalty or hope for a touchdown, or you've got to just hope that your kicker's got enough leg to boot something this long.
That's right. When you do kick the football, you take a chance at having it blocked and returned. So Coach Berry's going to elect to go for it here on 3rd down and long with 1 second left.
And that's going to be the call. With 1 second to go, we'll see if the Redbirds throw the ball in the end zone. Dusty Burke back to pass. He is indeed looking deep, and he throws the ball in the end zone, and it is tipped, and it's picked off. It's picked off in the end zone, and we'll see what happens. The Dutchman can run it back. It was a nice play. The Redbirds threw it into triple coverage, actually, and the ball was picked off. The first interception of the afternoon for Dusty Burke as he throws it up. But it was an impressive first half for Burke and his Redbirds as they will go to the locker room at halftime ahead 24-7 over Hofstra in this Division I AA quarterfinal. We are at halftime here in Hempstead, New York. Hofstra University playing host to this 1AA quarterfinals, and the Redbirds are in front 24-7 over the Flying Dutchman. Kurt Pegler, Steve Mays back with you here in Hempstead, New York. An impressive first half for the Redbirds, Steve, especially for the freshman quarterback Dusty Burke, who has better than 300 yards passing in the first half.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. What I like his efficiency, 23 of 27. He's spreading the wealth out. He's completed passes to 8 different receivers, which is incredible. And I like his patience, and I like the way he's playing right now. The offense continues to roll. The defense, on the other hand, seems to be playing pretty well. They're keeping Gio Carmazzi, the very good quarterback for Hofstra, off the field, which is a plus.
I guess that's the biggest thing that we need to talk about is initially the Redbirds had a difficult time stopping that run-and-shoot offense, but the offense has played defense by keeping its offense, the Redbird offense, on the field and keeping the Hofstra offense off the field, so Carmazzi hasn't had a chance to create these scoring opportunities.
That's right, and let's give some credit to the defensive coaches for Illinois State as well. They've made some adjustments. You know, Coach Barry, Todd Barry from Illinois State, has faced this offense before. He's actually taught the run-and-shoot offense, so he knows how to defend it as well, and they've made nice adjustments, which is a sign of good coaching, and they've really been able to stop Hofstra here in the second quarter.
Yeah, at the top of the broadcast, we mentioned that special teams could play a factor. Special teams already have played a factor, and the Redbirds recovering a muffed kickoff and turn it into 6 points at the end of the half, or 7 points at the end of the second quarter there.
That's right, and then they get the other turnover, fumble there, and turn that into 7 points. That's being opportunistic, and we keep talking about that, and Barry talks about that all the time. He likes to score points off special teams, and he's gotten 2 of those today.
24-7 is our halftime score. The Redbirds lead Hofstra here. The winner of this afternoon's game in the quarterfinals goes to the semifinals. When we come back, we'll hear from Athletic Director Perk Weissenberger, who's on the road with the Redbirds. 24-7 in this Division I AA quarterfinal. The winner goes on to the national semifinals in the college football playoffs. And we are alongside now with Perk Weissenberger, the new athletic director at Illinois State, who has a permanent smile on his face so far after seeing the first 30 minutes of action. I know you've made this road trip out here to hopefully bring back a victory for the Redbirds, and so far so good, Perk.
Excellent start. Even though we got inside the red zone right to begin with and couldn't convert, but obviously Coach Barry's got a lot of confidence in his offensive team, and we've come back, and that turnover after the touchdown on the kickoff was huge, and Dusty Burke is playing extremely well. Our guys are obviously juiced up, and we're on top of Hofstra right now. We just got to stay that way.
Let's talk about your first 5 or 6 months, I guess it's been. You came in the off-season in the summertime. How have things gone at Illinois State? Certainly there's been a lot of excitement this fall with the football team, and that's always a great way to start your tenure at ISU.
It's been a whirlwind. It's been wonderful because we've had great success in all of our sports in the fall time, and in particular with football. The excitement that was preseason after last year's 8-4 year, getting into the 1AA playoffs, and then the start we had, and of course the disappointment we had in losing Kevin Glenn, but obviously a young man like Dusty Burke steps in and leads our team into the playoffs, and now we're battling for a chance to go to the semifinals, and we're 1 quarter away from it. So it's been a lot of fun. I got to give the credit to the young men who play the game, and certainly that coaching staff have really done a great job of turning this program around, but our fans have also done a wonderful job in supporting the Redbirds, and hopefully we'll be able to bring a home game back to Hancock Stadium next week.
Yeah, it was exciting last week to have the first ever home playoff game at ISU, and I know that you're excited about things in the future at Hancock Stadium as you're doing some renovations, and you hope that in years to come it'll be a stadium. This is a very nice facility here at Hofstra, and I know that you're trying to upgrade things at ISU as far as the football facilities are concerned.
That's right, Kurt. We've got a facility underway right now in a football building, what we call, it'll be really for teaching and coaching. It'll be for the offense, or for the offices for the coaching staff, and it'll also have breakout rooms for offense and defense. It'll be a great teaching tool. It'll be a new locker room, a great recruiting resource for our football program. But we've got some other things that we do need to look at Hancock Stadium, such as the stands and the bleachers and the restrooms and the concessions, because we're drawing more fans now. We want to market to more fans. We've got a product, and we know we can put more than 12, 13, 14,000 people in Hancock Stadium, but we want to be able to service those fans once we do get them to the stadium. So we've got a lot of work to do there, but it's an exciting time, and no better time to do it is when your football team is playing good ball.
Well, that's certainly the case. So far, the first half year that you've been on the job, is it what you expected at Illinois State, kind of what you had heard about coming to the Midwest and being a part of this university?
Everything that I expected and more. I knew that it was a wonderful community, and we found that to be the case. knew that the programs had been very, very strong in the past, evidenced by the Missouri Valley Conference Championship and All-Sports Trophy that we currently hold on to. And I've also heard about the administrative staff prior to my arrival. My administrative staff is wonderful. I've got to tip my hat to the people that I work with. They're the ones who really make it happen and get it done behind the scenes. We've got an excellent group of coaches, and our coaches do a fine job, I should say an excellent job, of bringing in recruitable young men and young women who can compete for Illinois State, compete for championships, do it academically as well as athletically. So it's a wonderful program. It was in good condition when I got it, and we hope to keep it moving forward.
And the name Perk, everybody, I know I ask you when you go on the road or wherever you go, they go, how does a guy have a first name of Perk? It's not really your first name, it's more of a nickname, but everybody calls you Perk anyway. Maybe you can give us a little background on that.
Perk is short for John. So actually, John is my first name and my given name, but Perk is just a name that I inherited by my parents, given to me by my parents when I was just a couple weeks old. I was a perky little baby, and it just kind of stuck. So I've always been Perk. Got 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother, and it's always been Perk, not John.
And it's easy to be perky when the football team's ahead 24-7 at halftime of a quarterfinal, huh?
Well, all fall long, people have asked me how's it going, and usually they ask me that at a football game when I run into a lot of Redbird fans and our donors and ticket holders, and typically I say when the football team's performing like they are, it's going very, very well. So, but I'm proud of all of our sports. Our volleyball team, our cross-country teams, certainly our basketball teams are underway. Our women's soccer won a co-championship this year, so we've got a lot to be proud of at Illinois State. Just right now at halftime, we're extremely proud of our football Redbirds.
What can you tell us is in the future for Redbird Athletics outside of the fact that you're working on the new facilities at football? I know you've got your wheels turning about the future. Everybody's thinking about the new millennium and what's around the corner for Redbird Athletics.
Well, I think that the exciting part of it is what we need to do facility-wise. We've been able to travel to some schools this year in the Gateway Football Conference and outside the conference, and certainly Hofstra is no exception. They've got some remarkable facilities here. It's been a good opportunity for me and my staff and some of our student athletes and some of our fans who've traveled from Bloomington Normal today to get a chance to see facilities like this. We need a football facility similar to this, and we need a weight room similar to what they have so we can continue to develop young men and young women who can have championship experiences on and off the field. So we're going to look to raise more money, be part of the university's comprehensive campaign, and increase and enhance our facilities so we can stay on top.
Well, thanks for coming by. As we said, I know that Perk Weisenberger is awfully perky with his team ahead 24-7 at halftime with Hofstra. We'll talk with Gateway Conference Co-Commissioner Mike Kern when we come back here on CBS 31. Leading the Flying Dutchman 24-7 in this Division I AA quarterfinal. Kurt Pegler along with Mike Kern from the Gateway Conference, who has made the trip out to check on the Gateway Conference champion Redbirds and see how they're faring in the playoffs. And I'd say that you're probably pretty happy that your conference rep, your conference champ, is holding its own out here.
Excellent first half for the Redbirds. Dusty Burke playing very well, and hopefully they can continue that.
I think it's a situation that people involved in the Gateway Conference, involved in 1AA football, understand how good the Gateway Football Conference is, but there are a lot of people across the country that don't realize when you've got Youngstown State, when you've got Illinois State, when you've got Northern Iowa, Western Illinois, you've got some awfully good football programs.
Well, we know how good we are, and every year we get to the playoffs, we're thinking this is our chance to prove it, and this is the year that we are proving it. And Youngstown is up, by the way, in their game also, 7-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, there are 2 teams, Illinois State and Youngstown State, who qualified for the playoffs out of the 1AA playoffs, and it's just a tight field. When you've only got 16 teams nationally that make it, and you have multiple teams out of your conference, I know you guys are happy with that.
Very proud of our league and very proud of our coaching staffs and all the players that are playing in our conference.
How about Todd Berry and what he's done to pick up the ISU program the last couple of years? Playoff game last year, home playoff game last week, quarterfinal berth this week. Things are exciting.
2-time Coach of the Year in the conference, and deservingly so. He's been a great addition to our conference. We hope we keep it a long time.
I think it's a situation where you would like to see the Redbird football program continue on with this momentum. I know there's we just had Perk Weisenberger on talking about some of the improvements that they're making with the stadium issues and stuff at Hancock Stadium. That's a big thing, obviously. When you look at other facilities across the country, you want your conference teams to be able to stack up in that manner.
We've got some nice facilities in our conference. Illinois State's making some great improvements to their facility. We hope it'll continue to other areas and other conference schools.
Yeah. When you go across the country, do you think that the Gateway teams can stack up with these other teams on the East Coast, in the South, etc., that play college football very well?
In terms of on the field, I think we've got the best conference. I think we've got a physical conference. And we hear that from other coaching staffs around the country, that we stack up very well. We're very physical. People don't want to play us.
Yeah.
We have a tough time scheduling teams because nobody wants to play us, and that speaks volumes for the respect that we
Yeah, I guess I want to ask you about that. When you show up, people are glad to see you, but they don't want to schedule your teams because the teams beat up on each other. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams, when we get into the playoffs, have hoped that we beat up each other enough during the regular season, the conference schedule, that we don't have enough left to carry us through the playoffs. But this year, I hope that we do.
You're a busy man, right? You're trying to keep tabs on your teams. You've got Illinois State, you've got Youngstown State. It seems like when one season ends, another begins. I mean, you're a jet setter.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but I do try to keep track on the teams.
He is, certainly. How about a final prediction here before we let you go? I know that you want to see your conference champion continue on.
Well, if we win by 1, that's good. If we win by a lot, that's better, but I just hope we win.
All right, thanks. Mike Kern from the Gateway Conference making the road trip out to see the Gateway Conference champion ISU Redbirds and see if they can advance into the national semifinals. And right now, so far, so good. At Hofstra, the Redbirds lead the Flying Dutchmen 24-7 in this national quarterfinal. We'll be back with some halftime statistics and have the second half kickoff. The Redbirds lead at 24-7. We're back here on CBS 31 in a minute. We are at halftime here, minutes away from kicking off the third quarter. Illinois State leading Hofstra 24-7 in this Division I AA quarterfinal. Kurt Pegler along with former ISU quarterback Steve Mays, and glad you're alongside. It's been all smiles for Todd Berry and his staff. If you take a look at those first half statistics, Steve, they are dominated by the Redbirds.
That's right. Quite a few things stick out. Illinois State had 19 first downs. Hofstra had 9. Rushing yardage, Illinois State had 56. Hofstra 34. Passing yardage, unbelievable advantage to the Illinois State Redbirds. Dusty Burke was 23 of 27 for 302 passing yards in the first half. Giovanni Carmazzi was 12 of 16 for 126 yards. He played very well, but did not play very often there in the second quarter. Illinois State total offense had 358 yards, Hofstra 160. Hofstra did have the 2 turnovers. Illinois State had none. Penalty yardage, Illinois State had 2 penalties for 15 yards, Hofstra 2 for 17. Time of possession really tells the story. Illinois State 19 minutes, 13 seconds in the first half, Hofstra 10 minutes and 47 seconds. And I think a stat that is interesting that's not on this page, Hofstra only ran 14 offensive plays there in the second quarter. That's not very much. Illinois State ran 30, so they had a decisive advantage, and that's why the score is 24-7 Redbirds.
Well, sometimes we say that the best defense is a good offense, and the Redbirds' offense has kept stayed on the field and kept that Hofstra offense off, so that run and shoot offense really hasn't had a chance to get kick-started after that opening drive in which it marched down the field 80 yards and came up with the lone touchdown that the Dutchmen have.
That's exactly right. Let's face it. I mean, they were marching up and down the field. Illinois State was having a hard time stopping that offense. They made some very good adjustments that we mentioned in the first half. That's the sign of good coaching, and let's hope they can continue to make good decisions against this powerful offense from Hofstra.
Now the winner of this afternoon's game here gets the winner of the Massachusetts-Georgia Southern game, which right now UMass leads 7-2. Again, if the Redbirds are victorious and move into that semifinal round, they'll play the winner of that ball game. Georgia Southern has the higher seed, so Georgia Southern would host. UMass, however, would be the visiting team if they had to come to Normal. That's if the Redbirds win, but there's a lot of football left to play, and the second half is now underway as Jake Strader's kick goes to Hofstra, and it was Bill Morales who runs the ball up for the Dutchmen across the 25 to the 29-yard line, and that's where the Hofstra offense will start the second half.
Vito Golston gets the initial tackle for the Illinois State Redbirds, and let's see if that defensive line for the Illinois State Redbirds can put some pressure on Gio.
Giovanni Carmazzi. We mentioned him at the top of the broadcast as one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the country, regardless of division. The pro scouts love him. He's a big fellow with a big arm, and he's under center right now for Hofstra with that run and shoot offense. It trails 24-7, and a quick pass is flipped out there to Morales, who makes a nice catch, and about a 9-yard gain. He's going to be close to a first down.
Well, Derek Smith, number 37 for Illinois State's been in pass coverage more than he has all year.
Yeah.
He's been locked up with that running back out there in the slot, and did a good job right there. I mean, that's tough to cover the running back coming out of the backfield.
They have opened each of the half, Hofstra has, with a pass to Morales. And now it's a toss sweep to Jimmy Jones, who has a blocker and a first down. He stays on his feet across the 40 to the 44-yard line.
Jimmy's got a little hop in his step this half. Was slowed there in the first half. Really didn't get many opportunities. Let's see what he was rushing. He ran it 8 times for 25 yards with a long of 7, 3.1 average. Really didn't handle the ball very often. I would look for them to put the ball in his hands a little bit more in the second half.
First down for Hofstra, and Carmazzi now out of the shotgun with the 4 wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. 3 of them lined up to the near side, and the Handoff is a fake now to Jones, and he flips the ball out. Here's Morales again, who's near midfield. He shakes a tackle, and he's into Redbird territory before he's pushed out about the 46-yard line. They've gone to Bill Morales on a couple of those pass plays now. Short, concise, 10, 12-yard patterns, and Carmazzi's getting the ball out to his receivers in good condition.
That's right. We've heard so much about Steve Jackson when we came into this game, but Giovanni Carmazzi has found a new receiver, and they are picking on the outside corners for Illinois State.
And this opening drive of the second half starts a lot like the opening drive of the first half for Hofstra when the Flying Dutchman marched down the field 80 yards and scored their only points. It's 24-7 Illinois State. We're just underway here in the second half. Play action and a rollout now for Carmazzi. He's got some open area. Galen Scott tries to track him down, push him out, but it's close to a first down. Depending on the spread, it looks like it will be a first down for Hofstra.
There you see Gio right there. Giovanni Carmazzi showed a little bit of his wheels right there, something that we talked about in the first half that the pro scouts like. He is a very mobile quarterback. Not only is he 6'3", 220, but he's able to move around in the pocket. This one he outruns Galen Scott, number 40, for the first down.
And another first down now for Hofstra as they've marched downfield here in the third quarter against that Redbird defense. And now it'll be Carmazzi out of the shotgun. He's a big fella, 6 feet 3 inches, 220 pounds, a senior out of Sacramento, transferred from Pacific when Pacific dropped its football program. He throws over the middle. He's got a wide open receiver, and it's going to be a touchdown for Hofstra.
Well, they got the offensive alignment and defensive alignment they liked right there. They locked Jimmy Jones on Tim Angston. Tim was actually pulled in the first half. I made that comment that they brought in Tim Beschel, the better cover man from the middle linebacker position. And here, right there, look at the patience of Carmazzi, just over the top to Jimmy Jones. That's wide open, and right now they're right back in this game with 13:40 left to go in the third.
A big play for Hofstra, and that's exactly what the Flying Dutchman needed after seeing the Redbirds score 24 consecutive points. Jones was wide open, and that was a very impressive drive. 5 plays, 71 yards. It took only a minute 26, evenly split up, 3 running plays and 2 passing plays. And now it's going to be Chad Johnson on to kick the point after, which is good. No, it's no good. He missed that kick.
Push that one a little to the right.
Well, that's a way to take a little spirit away from you. So the point after is no good, but Hofstra scores on its first possession in the third quarter. The Redbirds still lead it 24-13. Marches downfield, 5 plays, 71 yards, and a touchdown to get back in this ball game. A wide open pass play. Jimmy Jones receiving and taking the ball into the end zone, and the Redbird lead has been cut from 24-7 down to 24-13.
Well, the most important thing about that is it only took a minute 26. You don't like to see that if it's you're an Illinois State Redbird fan. You want to make them earn that touchdown, and just like that, they're back in the game, only down by 11.
Chad Johnson on the kick now for the Dutchmen, who seem to have reawakened this crowd. And Avion Cason is back to receive deep for the Redbirds. And the kick is going to be headed into the end zone, and Avion Cason won't even get a chance to take this one back. As it's out of the back of the end zone, the Redbirds will start at their own 20.
I think there's a little more wind than you and I have recognized, Kurt, down on the football field. They're able to kick that one out through the back of the end zone. So Hofstra will have the wind at their back here in the third quarter.
And Dusty Burke, who, as we mentioned in the first half, passed for 302 yards, 23 of 27. A very effective and efficient first half of the Redbird offense. He comes back now and will add to that total likely as he brings the Redbirds out to the 20-yard line. The lone setback is Willie Watts as the Redbirds start with the same alignment that they started the game in. And Burke is immediately back to pass, and he goes over the middle to the tight end, Preisker, who's wrapped up nicely by Jim Emanuel, among others. We've called his name several times, the inside linebacker, the middle linebacker for Hofstra after a short gain for the Birds.
Got a little help by the other inside linebacker, Robert Levitas, number 35. He's playing with his heavily bandaged left arm. He hurt his wrist in the last game that they played in Lehigh. You see this catch by Scott Preisker, nowhere to go right there, but Dusty Burke continues to complete passes.
And now it's 2nd and 10 as the spotted as no gain, and the flip goes out now into the flat, and Willie Watts that time is tracked down. Nicely done again by the defense as the Hofstra defense has come out fired up here in the second half, and in on that tackle is again James Emanuel.
Yeah, Emanuel was really having problems with that play in the first half. We're going to see it right here. Seeing Dusty Burke look off downfield. Avion Or Willie Watts right there, not able to stretch that one as Emmanuel is really running sideline to sideline.
And now the Hofstra fans on their feet trying to pump up their defense, which has come up with a couple of nice plays to start the second half. As they've closed the gap now to within 11 at 24-13. And out of the shotgun, it's Burke, and he's going deep. He's going for Jacob Need, but he overthrows him. Pass was intended, for Ricky Garrett, as he was out there, had his defender beat, but the pass was just a bit too long.
That's right. Nice ball by Dusty Burke, just a little bit overthrown. And now Jake Strader will be forced to punt the ball into this probably 10, 12 mile an hour wind. And Hofstra should have excellent field position on their second possession here in the third quarter.
Well, the Redbird defense will have to come out and do a number on this Hofstra offense. You can sense the momentum is right now clearly in the corner of the Dutchman. As Strader is back now for the punt. And it's a short kick. End over end to the near sidelines, and it bounces out of bounds right at midfield. And it might just be a hair inside at the 49, so Hofstra's going to start in very good field position.
Now, two things are happening right now that you don't like for Illinois State. They're giving up great field position, and they weren't able to do anything offensively, something we talked about in the first half. They just could, at will, move the football. And right off the bat, they're not able to move the football. And now you got Gio Carmazzi back on the field with great field position.
Well, you're talking about two offenses that can score points, both averaging about 34 points a game on the average, and certainly on pace to get there this afternoon. And now for their second possession of the second half, I should say, but we're going to have a false start immediately on Hofstra, I believe, although Carmazzi seems to be clapping his hands as if saying it'll be on Illinois State. Can't be, though. It's going to be a false start against the Flying Dutchman. In fact, it was the right guard, Michael Resigno, who was whistled for that violation. So it'll be first now and 10 back from the 46-yard line of Hofstra instead of starting out at near midfield. It's first and 15. And it's Carmazzi now, under center. They like to go out of the shotgun, but he's going to pitch it now, and it could be a halfback pass as Jimmy Jones is going to throw the ball, and he throws downfield, intended for Morales. The ball is tipped, almost intercepted that time, as the Redbirds were ready for that play.
They really were. Ryan Sokola, he just smelled that one out and really could have had an interception, but one of the other defensive backs for Illinois State, it might have been Sam Young, I believe, came in front of him. I think Sokola thought he was going to be able to pick this off. As you see the pass right here by number 12, Ian Butler. They actually brought another quarterback in to run that play. Ian Butler listed as a quarterback in the media guide. A little trickery here in the second half.
So it's now second and 15. And now out of the shotgun it is Carmazzi with Jimmy Jones standing next to him. And it's Jones on the fake, and it's going to be a rollout on the play action, and Carmazzi throws to the far sideline. It's a completed pass for a very short gain of about 4 yards as Morales is down there to corral it. Check that, that's Steve Jackson for Hofstra.
Well, we've talked a lot about Steve Jackson coming into this game. He's a guy that had 84 catches for 1,119 yards and 10 TDs. He's the #1 all-time in catches for Hofstra. And we talked about Wayne Corbett here earlier, the New York Jets player, former Hofstra player that was at the coin toss. Steve broke all of his records, and he's really quite a player.
Now that's Morales in motion. It's 3rd and 12 and a big play. It's Giovanni. He's looking. He's being chased. He's being chased to the far sidelines, and he'll have to just run out of bounds. As good pursuit that time. Damian Gregory was in pursuit and chased him out of bounds.
Actually, Ben Thompson as well, Kurt, was in on that. He'll get the sack. He was the closest to Giovanni Carmazzi as he ran out of bounds, so that will be determined as a sack. Illinois State finally able to stop the offense of Hofstra, and they will force them to punt.
So on 4th and 14, the punting unit is now on for Hofstra as James McClary, who was injured at the end of the first half, we mentioned, is back now to kick. And it's Ryan Zakola back for the Redbirds. He gets a kick off, a little contact with the punter, but no flag. Zakola takes the ball at his 20, shakes one tackler and another, and he's out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Nice return that time, a 12-yard return for the Redbird kick specialist.
That actually was a new punter in there for Hofstra, wasn't it? Dennis Winters? Is he listed?
Yeah, I guess it was Dennis
Yeah.
Williams. Let's take a look. There he is. Evidently, when we saw McCleary walk off the field,
Right.
his injury was probably more serious than once thought.
You can see the replay right here. Hofstra wanted a
Roughing the kicker.
but they're not going to get it. Coach Joe Gardy went crazy on the sideline, but Illinois State now will have the ball at the 32.
So the Redbird offense, which was stymied in its first attempt here in the third quarter, is back on the field. Dusty Burke is going to have to ad-lib a little bit. He's hit from behind. There seemed to be nobody open, and that play was snuffed out nicely. That time it was Jim Meyer who came up for the sack from behind.
You know, Kurt initially had pretty good protection.
Yeah.
The offensive line was able to hold him out. It was really a coverage sack by the defensive secondary. Everybody covered up. Dusty Burke really didn't want to run the football. You see him right there. And Hofstra will get their, I believe that's their third sack of the afternoon.
Mike Rodbrow, the right guard for Illinois State, thought that the ball was already away, and he kind of stopped his block, and that was enabling Meyer to come in and get him from behind. So a loss of 1 at 2nd and 11. Now Burke with a short drop, and he's going to hang on to it. It's a quarterback draw, and he's got a big opening. He's across midfield. He's to the 40. He's to the 30 before he's finally dragged down. Robert Thomas in on that tackle along with Lindy Washington, but he landed hard on his shoulder.
Well, you got to remember, he's had shoulder problems this year. He hurt that shoulder earlier in the season in the first start that he had, and he's really nursing that shoulder. I would imagine one of the backup quarterbacks for Illinois State is going to have to warm up.
Well, he's still down, and Kathy Schneidwin, the head trainer, is now on administering some medical attention to him. That was a big play, a quarterback draw, and he was wide open and cut right up the middle before he was finally dragged down by a couple of the cornerbacks, and here's another look.
That's right. Watch the end of the play. All the weight falls on Dusty Burke's shoulders. He shows, once again, great speed right there. Ooh, that's a lot of weight coming down on that shoulder. And I would imagine that Ryan Spielman, the backup quarterback for Illinois State, is warming up.
We should mention that both of these quarterbacks were backups at the beginning of the year, and both saw action in the Indiana State game. And we may have to see him. Dusty Burke leaves the field. The Redbirds still lead. 20 Burke to the Redbirds sidelines, and Ryan Spielman, the senior from Kankakee, is in now under center for the Redbirds. And we'll see how the offense operates now under Spielman. Burke was having a terrific afternoon. In motion now is Jacob Neat. And back to pass on his first attempt is Spielman. His pass is complete out to Avion Cason, who's immediately hit and wrapped up that time by Joe Thate of Hofstra.
Well, Ryan Spielman has been around this program a long time, and he knows what Coach Berry expects. I like right there that he takes what the defense will give him, go to second down, and give yourself a chance.
Spielman, as we mentioned, both he and Dusty Burke came in the Indiana State game after Kevin Glenn went down, and there was some decision of who would earn the starting quarterback's position, which Dusty Burke did earn, but Ryan Spielman has been very supportive in a backup role and now finds himself in this playoff game engineering the Redbird offense. It's 2nd and 7. And this time the handoff goes to Walter James. He's trying to get on the outside. Hofstra did a nice job of stringing the play out, and he was tackled on the play by Kari Williams.
The play was really stuffed up by Jim Magno once again, number 91 for Hofstra. You'll see him, real quick move on the inside. And Illinois State not getting a push on the offensive line. Now they're going to be forced with 3rd and 8. Ryan Spielman, the new quarterback for Illinois State, has only attempted 19 passes, completed 8 of those, and does not have a touchdown on the campaign.
3rd down and 7. The Redbirds at the Hofstra 22. And again, it's Need in motion. And back to pass is Spielman. And he zips one over the middle to Ricky Garrett. A nice catch and a nice play for the Redbirds inside the 10. They'll mark it at about the 6 or 7 yard line, and a first down for the Redbirds.
That's a 6th catch of the afternoon for Ricky Garrett, and I like the confidence that Coach Berry is showing in Ryan Spielman. Hey, let's go ahead and throw it on 3rd and long, as you see Garrett find a nice seam there in the middle of that Hofstra defense. Great play by Illinois State. Once again, they're right at that 5-yard line mark. Let's see what they can do here offensively.
So it's 1st and goal for the Redbirds now at the 6-yard line of Hofstra. And the call goes to Willie Watts, who's caught in the backfield and dragged down by Rob Levitas.
They continue to bring those inside backers. Levitas right there on another inside blitz. The offensive interior lineman, Ted Wolf, Hamma, Rodbro, having a hard time picking up the blitzing backers. They're going to have to do that if they're going to be able to run the ball inside.
This is the 6th time this afternoon that the Redbirds have battled inside the 10-yard line of Hofstra, and they've come away with points on each of the occasions, except for the first time when Strader failed on a 32-yard field goal. Neat in motion. Again, Spielman's the quarterback. The fake toss pitch. He's got a wide-open receiver, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. The Redbirds ran a naked bootleg, and Tom Bardwell out of Bloomington Central Catholic, the senior, the hometown hero, coming up with a touchdown. In a big play, he was wide open, Steve.
Boy, he really was. Great play-action fake by Ryan Spielman. You'll see the fake toss when we get to the replay right here. Look at the play-action fake right here. Tom Bardwell comes in as the second tight end to Scott Preisker, the other one. And you or I could have thrown that one right there. Bardwell wide open, and that really helps come back after giving up the touchdown.
Jake Strader's point after, however, is missed. And so the Redbird lead is now 17 at 30-13. How about the Redbirds in the red zone? A field goal now and 4 touchdowns as they've taken advantage of every opportunity. Here's another look on the fake pitch one-way rollout and a wide-open Tom Bardwell on the other end.
That's right. Ryan Spielman's first touchdown pass of the year, and Tom Bardwell could not be happier there. Tom Bardwell, that is his third catch of the year, actually, and second TD. So Tommy Bardwell gets into the action here.
And what a way for Ryan Spielman, as you mentioned, to get his first touchdown pass of the year. He comes off the bench for the injured Dusty Burke, who had a terrific first half. And we could see him. We don't know the extent of his injury, the shoulder injury, but Ryan Spielman, the senior, comes in and finishes off a Redbird drive that leads to a touchdown to Tommy Bardwell.
There you see Big Tommy right there. He plays on all the special teams. He's on the kickoff team, kick return. He loves playing, and he got an opportunity right there to make a big play. You know what I like? It really, for Illinois State on the offensive end, it really doesn't matter who you plug in there at quarterback. I mean, it's just like a machine. Coach Bond, who's the offensive coordinator for Illinois State, he doesn't care who plays quarterback. He's going to stay with that same game plan, and it just keeps working for him, Kurt.
John Bond has said that all season long, that he's very comfortable with any of the quarterbacks he's had in there, and the Redbirds have used 3 of them. And now Robert Thomas is back to take the kick from Jake Strader. He takes it at his 5, and he's across the 25 before he's finally pushed out of bounds by a host of Redbird special team tacklers.
Led by Tom Bardwell. Yes. We just talked about him. The guy isn't. How many times do you see that guy Blake makes a great play on the offensive end, comes down right there, makes a big hit on the special teams, and Tommy Bardwell is really getting after it right now.
And so the Redbird defense is back on the field and trying to stop that man, Giovanni Carmazzi, the quarterback and the leader of this run-and-shoot offense for Hofstra. It's 30-13, the Redbirds with a lead here in the third quarter with 7:14 to go in the period. Fake handoff that time, and Giovanni's going to hang on to it. Carmazzi goes across the 35. He's got a first down as he's going to be near the 40-yard line.
I'm surprised Giovanni Carmazzi's running as much as he had. We heard that coming into this game he had hurt his leg, pretty severely against Lehigh. I know he hurt it earlier in the season against Buffalo, re-aggravated that injury against Lehigh last week. But right there, once again, he refuses to run out of bounds and takes a big hit.
Tim Angston, the tackler there for the Redbirds, and that is an interesting point. Most quarterbacks will run out of bounds or do a hook slide, but not Carmazzi. And now on 1st and 10. He's back to pass, and he flips this ball out and out of bounds, incomplete. The pass that time was intended for Kamal Roy. The Redbird defense trying to come up with a big stop here after the momentum had swung towards Hofstra. The Redbirds answer with a touchdown of their own, and certainly the ISU defense wants to respond on its end of the bargain as well.
Kurt, just a quick note. We get word from the sideline that Dusty Burke did not actually injure his shoulder, just had the wind knocked out of him. We should see him yet here in the second half. Just got a little bit winded on that tough tackle.
And now on 2nd and 10 from the 37, Carmazzi is out of the shotgun. And the Redbirds show a little bit of a blitz, but it's picked up nicely. And the pass over the middle to Morales, who makes the play, and he's caught at midfield that time by Galen Scott. It'll be a first down for the Flying Dutchman.
Their offense continues to roll. If they don't turn the ball over, they're having a lot of success. As you see Carmazzi once again in the shotgun. And, right there you've got a wide receiver matched up on a linebacker, and that's not a good mix for Illinois State.
Morales over the middle. A first down for Hofstra right at midfield now. 6:22 and counting left in the third quarter. Illinois State owning a 30-13 advantage. And back out of the shotgun again, calling the signals, is Carmazzi. This time he hands to Jimmy Jones, and he scoots to the outside. He's got a first down and more before he's finally dragged down. It was Armando Andrade who came up for the tackle, but not before Hofstra earns another first down.
That's right. We've talked a little bit about Jimmy Jones and the fact he needs to carry the ball a little bit more. Here they're going to run the trap action. You see the backside guards pulling, and that's out of the shotgun. Cornerback's got to come up and tighten up and make a bigger play on that.
So the Hofstra offense back on the field and back chewing up the yardage. And it's another first down for the Dutchman. And again, it's going to be out of the shotgun. So many multiple weapons and multiple looks they give you. Play action. Carmazzi rolling. He's going to throw a screen back across the field. And again, it's Jones, but this time a stay-at-home play nicely done by Marcus White. He wasn't fooled on the play, and he wound up pushing Jones out of bounds.
Not only did Marcus White stuff that play right there, Damian Gregory put a pretty big hit on Carmazzi. The quarterback raises his arms to the official like, I didn't hit him late and didn't get called for the penalty. Here's the replay. We'll see it one more time. Carmazzi with the slight roll to the right, throws it all the way back across the field. And look at Marcus White running through that block and making a huge play defensively.
That is
strong play.
Yeah, absolutely a huge play, because White was about the only player on the field that Jones had to beat, or else that's a touchdown.
That's right, Kurt.
So a big play. Under 6 minutes to go now here in the third quarter. It's a 17-point Redbird advantage. It's now 2nd and 12. And it's Jones in motion. And we've got a flag on the play. Could be illegal procedure, huh?
Yeah, I think we're going to get a false start on the right tackle for the Flying Dutchman.
You know, sometimes when you have a complex offense like that and you've got so many receivers and so many options, you get those kind of penalties. So far, Hofstra's been very good and hasn't really killed itself with penalties, but you're going to see that when you've got so many weapons on the field.
That's right, and it's not unusual to get a illegal motion, you know, when you're a lineman. Usually you get time to think about the play. You're coming out of the huddle, walking to the line of scrimmage. Carmazzi does all of the audibling at the line of scrimmage, so you got so many things going through your mind, it's easy to get a false start.
Hofstra now 4 penalties for 27 yards. The Redbirds have been whistled for 2 penalties for 15 yards, so it's been a pretty error-free game as far as the penalties are concerned. So count it now, it's 2nd and 17 for Hofstra at the Redbird 45. Carmazzi, short pass over the middle to Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones is wide open. He gets into Redbird territory inside the 35 down to the 32, where he's still going to be about 6 or so yards short of a first down. But that chewed up some yardage.
Well, Ryan, Nicola.
Get a chance on the replay right here. Hofstra's going to their screen package right there. They elect to go to the middle screen. Good play call when you're getting a good push by the defensive line for Illinois State. Now it's 3rd and 4. Big play for their offense.
And Hofstra's 38% on third down conversions for the year. Today they're just 1 of 5. And again, the Redbirds show a little bit of a blitz, but Carmazzi picks it up. He flips the ball out, and it's complete for a first down. And Steve Jackson was there to call down that pass play.
We don't know what the stat is, but how many passes like that have they completed over their career? That ball was in the air before Jackson even turns his head. You're going to see the replay right here. Look at Carmazzi. That's just all timing, Kurt. Ball right on the mark. Pick up a first down, keep the drive going.
Angston was blitzing, but Hofstra picked it up, and Carmazzi was able to hit his favorite target. And now on first down, Hofstra again with the football, and almost an interception that time as Carmazzi rolled out, and 2 Redbirds had a crack at that one. Ryan Zakola initially, Albert Corbin secondly, had chances at picks there.
That's right. He actually overthrows Steve Jackson, the intended target. Zakola couldn't believe it. Hands go up late, does not get the interception. You see the slight roll right here by Carmazzi. That one's just overthrown, or actually underthrown. He may have been going down the field to number 11, Bill Morales.
Ryan Zakola had a good look at that one, but instead it's an incomplete pass. It's 2nd and 10, and back under center now is Carmazzi, and that's Morales now in motion. And back to pass again on the short drop. He looks over the middle, and he hits Jackson, who's open in the flat. He was wide open, and he's going to be inside the Redbird 15 and close to a first down. As you see the clock wind down.
Yeah, I believe Curdy is going to be a little bit short here.
Armando and Grady.
They're going to make it. They're going to mark it at 3rd and 1. As you see, again, the pass play over the middle. Hofstra has done this very effectively today. They've run those short routes over the middle. Back to live action on the keep. It was Carmazzi with a quarterback keep, and it looks like he's going to be close to the first down. I'd say he's probably got it, depending on where that spot is. It was a quick count to the line of scrimmage. And indeed it is a first down for Hofstra.
The defense for Illinois State's got to be getting a little bit tired right here. They've been on the field a long time, and this drive, Hofstra's hanging on to the football. This is a big series right here for the defense.
Joe Gardy's team has marched downfield now inside the Redbird 15-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go here in the quarter. Play action. Little flip pass underneath to Morales. He's going to shake a tackler and get into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, 12th play of the drive right there for Hofstra. A little shovel pass from Carmazzi, getting a lot of pressure, letting that defensive end work himself up the field. And Morales with all that speed, I'll tell you. He's a nice compliment to the other receiver, Jackson, that we've talked a lot about. This is just a great play call by the offensive coaches for Hofstra. Look at Morales with that quick juke step to the outside, and he's gone. Just like that, it's a 30-19 football game.
Derek Smith had a good look at him, but Morales gets into the end zone. He now has 6 catches for 63 yards on the day. That is a 13-yarder for a touchdown. And now the point after, attempted by Chad Johnson, is up and good. And Hofstra has now closed to within 10 as the ISU Redbirds lead Hofstra 30-20 here in the third quarter with 3:42 to go in this national quarterfinal. The Redbirds have the ball when we come back. Hofstra within 10. It's 30-20. The Redbirds have the lead. A nice, really nicely executed play there, Steve, for the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, that shovel pass really utilizes the speed for Morales. And as we were off camera there, we were talking about the speed that Morales has. I did not know that he was that quick, and he shows it right there.
And so now Chad Johnson is on for the kick, and back deep for the Redbirds is Avion Cason. Last 2 times he's kicked the ball into the end zone. This one is 1 yard deep in the end zone, and Cason's going to take it out. And again, the fake handoff. He goes right up the middle, hangs onto it, gets out to the 20-yard line. Redbirds have run that all afternoon where they faked that double reverse. This time it was Randolph White was used as the decoy.
Well, he makes it exciting. There's no doubt about that. He's one of the better special teams players for Illinois State. Is Dusty Burke, you see, is going to come back on and play quarterback. He evidently has regained his wind, and that's a good sign.
Had a 44-yard run, had the wind knocked out of him at the tail end of the last Redbird scoring drive. But after Ryan Spielman finished off the drive with a touchdown pass to Tommy Bardwell, it's Berg back under control. The Redbirds start at their own 20 with a 10-point lead. 3:33 here to go in the third quarter. And Willie Watts gets the call, and the big, strong running back gets out to the 24-yard line, dragging a couple of tacklers with him. It'll be a gain of 4, and the Redbirds will have 2nd and 6.
9th carry of the afternoon for Willie Watts. He now has 24 rushing yards. Really, they've done a nice job against Illinois State's rushing offense. Other than the long run by Dusty Burke of 44 yards, they have shut down the rushing game from Illinois State.
Clock ticking now, under 3 minutes to go here, third quarter. Watts stays in the backfield. The Redbirds line up 4 wide receivers without a tight end, and it's Burke again under center. And he's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. He's audibleizing on 2nd and 5 here now. And he did not get the play off, I don't believe. I believe, yep, it's going to be a delay of game as he tried to change the play at the line of scrimmage, but couldn't pull the trigger.
No, Hofstra came out in a little bit of defensive change-up right there. They're going to bring both of their inside linebackers. They're locked up in man on the outside. Dusty Burke had to change the play. He must have had a running play called, some type of inside running play, and just took too much time.
So mark the play back 5 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Redbirds as they're inside of their own 20-yard line. About the 19 is where they're spotting that. And now Burke hands this time to Watts, who's trying to get on the outside, and he does. He turns the corner. He knocks and runs one of the tacklers over and gets across the 30-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Redbirds. Big, strong Willie Watts on that play, I tell you. He cut the ball up and took a couple of tacklers with him.
That's right. Asher London, number 9, the Hofstra defensive back is on the end of this big hit right here. You see him run him over and gain a few extra yards after the contact.
1st and 10 for the Redbirds now as they show I formation, and it's going to be the option. And Burke pitches to the outside, and Avion Kaysen gets to the outside, and he's going to be awfully close to another Redbird first down. Kayson's speed has really been a factor this afternoon, hasn't it, Steve? He's gotten to the outside on many a different occasion.
It really has, and Illinois State continues to stay with that counter option action. They love running that with Burke and Avion Kaysen as the pitchback, and his extra gear that he's been able to get in has really helped them out.
Gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 now. The ball is spotted on the 40-yard line. The Redbirds have the lead, 30-20. Todd Berry's club ahead with 2:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And now John Loreni in motion, and back to pass is Dusty Burke. He pumps once, and he throws out to a wide-open Kaysen, who dropped the ball, had it in his hands, which would have been a big play for the Redbirds.
You know, when you look at this angle of the sun right here, that ball could have been right into the sun as the ball is right on the mark. You know, look where he's looking, right back into the sun. I'm not going to say that that was a factor, but it could have been. And, man, that's a big loss right there for Illinois State.
Burke with a successful pump fake down the middle, and that may have frozen the linebackers for a minute, and you only need a half a second when Kaysen is out there. And now it's a 3rd and 2 for the Redbirds, who converted on 4 of their 9 third down opportunities on the afternoon. Jacob Neat in motion. Willie Watts gets the handoff. Can he get to the outside? He shakes a tackler, and he's going to be close to a first down pending the spot, and it looks like he does have it.
It's always funny to see little number 19, Jacob Neat, out there leading a sweep like that. He looks like a little lineman with that extra padding he has on the inside. You're going to see number 19 make a nice block, and Illinois State is able to pick up the first down.
Damon Sinacrapi in pursuit, just could not get there in time for Hofstra, and it is indeed a first down, so a big play for the Redbirds, who certainly could have been somewhat demoralized after that Avion Kaysen drop, but stay in the game and have a first down. And Dusty Burke has again looked sharp, so showing no ill effects, at least from the wind getting knocked out of him. Again, there's that counter option play, and Kaysen takes the pitch, and he's going to be near midfield. He stays on his feet, and he gets inside the 40-yard line. He tiptoed the near sidelines, and he was able to dance for another first down before Robert Thomas pulled him down for the Dutchman.
Avion put a juke move on Jim Emanuel, the linebacker for Hofstra, that he's going to remember for a career right here. Watch this stutter step by Avion Kaysen. And I think the offensive linemen think the play is dead.
Yeah.
And really, he could have picked up some more yardage.
Asher Longden probably thought he stepped on the end line because he couldn't believe that he couldn't at least push him out. But Kaysen stays on his feet and comes up with another first down for the Redbirds. And now Burke is out of the shotgun as the ball is spotted at the Hofstra 40 as we approach the 1-minute mark left here in 3rd quarter. Quick pass out that time for Walter James, who's immediately hit and pushed out of bounds by Jim Emanuel.
Yeah, huge hit by Jim Emanuel. He's going to have to come out for a play. They've been running him sideline to sideline. He needs a little bit of oxygen. You see the Hofstra coaches saying, hey, man, we need you in there. And this is a nice hit by Emanuel.
Jim Emanuel has been all over the place, as Steve has said, from one sideline to the other. He is catching a little bit of a breather on the bench now. 2nd and 12 now.
Casey Mahoney comes in for Emanuel on this play.
Burke over the middle to Ricky Garrett, who corrals the ball. He's inside the 35 at the 34 before he's finally tackled, and the Redbirds will have a 3rd down and 4 to go.
Well, this is 2-down territory for Todd Berry. If they aren't able to get it here on 3rd down, you can just imagine that he is going to go for it on 4th down. So they have 2 plays to get 4 yards.
Again, the Hofstra crowd trying to back its defense and turn the Redbirds away. The lone setback now is Willie Watts. And Dusty Burke goes over the middle. He's got a wide open receiver down to the 20 to 10. It's going to be a touchdown again, and Steve Castro was wide open. He was the receiver in motion, and nobody picked him up. And he caught that pass over the flat and went untouched into the end zone.
That's right. You see him get a hug right there from Scott Preisker. He also got a great block from him. We'll see the replay here in a second. But watch the patience by Dusty Burke once again. He really got a good push up the middle, and Castro wide open. And all of a sudden, Steve Castro becomes a favorite target of Dusty Burke. Great play, great execution by Illinois State.
And give the Redbirds credit. They really have run the football better here in the third quarter. They had 56 yards total rushing in the first half and 89 alone in the third quarter. And that has helped set up some of those pass plays. Strader completes the point after, and the Redbirds now lead it 37-20 thanks to a 9-play, 80-yard drive, which chewed 3.5 minutes off the clock. And with just 12 seconds to go in the period, the Redbirds have a 17-point lead.
That's right, and they're going to get the wind at their back here in the fourth quarter. End zone view right here of the touchdown to Steve Castro. Watch the block on the right-hand side of your screen from Preisker. Does a good job not committing the foul of the clip, and Castro goes in untouched.
Steve Castro has come up with a couple of huge plays this afternoon. You recall back in the second quarter, a big 43-yard play on third down. That was a drive that was capped off by a touchdown pass to Castro. He has 4 balls for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns now after that long touchdown. A scoring drive again of 80 yards for the Redbirds, who really needed to do something to offset the Hofstra offense, which had answered with that touchdown to Bill Morales.
That's right. That's got to be demoralizing to Hofstra. Illinois State's offense comes right back down the field and scores. 10 different players have caught footballs today from Dusty Burke. And I should throw Ryan Spielman in there as well, as he was forced into the action as well. But 10 different players have caught passes today for ISU.
Burke with 337 yards now receiving. Robert Thomas on the reverse that time as he hands the ball off, and it's Jones who tries to get to the outside, and he does momentarily, but the Redbirds were not fooled by that reverse off the kickoff that time, and that's going to end the quarter as the time has expired. Both teams' offenses flexing their muscles, but it's the Redbirds right now that lead by 17 points. 37-20, the Redbird lead here as we have just 15 minutes left to play. 1 quarter to go, and the Redbirds enter the fourth quarter leading Hofstra at 37-20. 15 minutes left to go as we start the fourth quarter. Redbirds lead Hofstra 37-20. Redbird fans, if you're looking for tickets, 438-8000 is the Redbird ticket office for all of the Illinois State University athletic tickets, and there could be a drive for tickets if there is another home playoff game, and we'll keep you abreast on that. But there's still 15 minutes left to go in this one, and the Redbirds start the fourth quarter playing defense against Hofstra, and it's going to be Jimmy Jones getting the ball up the middle. He stays on his feet after shaking a couple of tacklers and gets out to the 24-yard line.
Kurt, we talked about the potential for there being 1,000 yards of total offense this game. Illinois State has 506 total yards here in this game. We're just starting the fourth quarter. Hofstra has 310 right before that play, so now they have 314 total yards offensively.
Dusty Burke, the Illinois State quarterback, has 337 passing yards by himself. What a day it's been for the Redbird offense, and now the spotlight is on the Redbird defense to see if it can stop the run and shoot. And a completed pass over the middle again goes to Jones from Carmazzi. He's across the 30. He'll give Hofstra another first down.
You got to still like the patience by Giovanni Carmazzi. Not panicking. You got 14-20 left. You're down 17. A lot of time left on the clock. He's going to still continue to take what the defense gives him. I'm impressed with him.
I am too. And Hofstra will go likely to a no-huddle offense where they're just kind of getting plays shuttled in and out and trying to ad-lib at the line of scrimmage, audibilizing if they have to, as we're under 14 minutes left in this one, trailing by 17. It's a Redbird 37-20 advantage. And Carmazzi pump fakes once, now looks deep, and he's going to go deep, and he's got Adams, but the Redbirds quickly converged on the play and snuffed it out that time as Andrade bit on the pump fake initially, but then recovered.
That's right. He was actually beaten on the play. Carmazzi actually underthrows the ball. We'll see the play right here at the end. The ball is well underthrown, probably 2 or 3 yards. Andrade is able to recover and knock it away.
Sam Young also back in coverage. Sam Young had an unbelievable year. When you talk about regular season, 19 passes broken up. Most players would like to have 12 or 13. That would be considered an outstanding year. He had better than an outstanding year with 19 deflected passes broken up by Sam Young, and he was back on coverage as well there. So now on 2nd and 10, it's Carmazzi out of the shotgun. And he's looking towards Adams again. He throws it out there towards Adams because the defender slipped. Andrade slipped, and Adams gets out to midfield. It'll be a first down.
Very lucky that Adams was not able to keep his feet right there. Andrade was actually on the ground. They could have scored a quick touchdown. And once again, Hofstra just continues to move the football. ISU, for some reason, up front, you know, with David Bull, Damian Gregory, they are not able to get a push on this offensive line. They have not been in the face all afternoon of Carmazzi. It's been unbelievable the amount of time he's had.
And Carmazzi has better than 260 yards passing now, 268 to be exact, 24 of 31, so he's been efficient, just like Dusty Burke for the Redbirds. And again, out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 right at midfield is Hofstra. And it goes to Jimmy Jones off the draw play out of that shotgun formation. He's across the 45, and they'll spot the ball at the Redbird 44. Jones has done a nice job running. He has 11 carries now for 46 yards and does have a touchdown. And so it'll be 2nd down and a long, or a short 4, I should say, either a long 3 or a short 4 now for Hofstra as we approach the 13-minute mark left in this one. Redbirds have a 37-20 lead. Play action this time. And again, it's going to be a keeper as Carmazzi keeps it, tucks it under, gets out of bounds. He has another Hofstra first down. He is not afraid to run the football.
Well, we've seen it, in some of the things that we heard about this team. He does have 12 rushing touchdowns, 400+ yards rushing the football. He likes to carry it, and that's surprising. That's a lot of yardage for a quarterback that throws the ball as well as he does. And, Illinois State right now has 2 new defensive linemen in. Tawan Hartley's in and Jeff Weiss. Let's see if they can get some push up front.
Carmazzi's done a nice job of interpreting the defense, throwing to the open man or tucking it under and running. He's been very effective this afternoon, and so far, as Steve and I have said, we've been very impressed with the guys the NFL scouts are impressed with. Quick snap pass, he throws it out now with Kamal Roy on a quick near screen play, but it's just a quick hit. It's about a 6-yard gain or so. It'll be 2nd and 4. The clock continues to run as Roy was unable to get out of bounds, and we should mention that'll be a factor here as in college football they stop the clock momentarily to move chains up on first downs, but when you're Hofstra and you're trying to move the football, you want to stop the clock as much as you can.
That's right. You're almost in your 2-minute offense mode right here. You just want to get to the line of scrimmage, run a play as quickly as you can, and stop that clock.
4 receivers on the line of scrimmage and nobody in the backfield now with Carmazzi. Short drop, he throws over the middle. It's Morales who makes the catch and a first down. He's been very effective here in the second half. Morales has a touchdown, and he's made 4 catches now here in the second half.
That's right. They don't do anything fancy. I mean, these receivers they spread you out so far over the field, make you defend everything. They just run to the open spot right there. 8 or 9 yard gain. Clock keeps running. Move the first down chains.
6 catches now, 89 yards for Billy Morales. And now back out of the shotgun is Carmazzi. He's back, and he's going to float the ball out to Jimmy Jones, and Jimmy Jones has the ball, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the Redbird 20-yard line.
Damian Gregory, one of the defensive linemen for Illinois State, is talking to the official. There's some holding going up front. Maybe that's the reason why they're not able to get a push on the quarterback, as Damian Gregory yelling that he was being held.
Jimmy Jones has almost 150 all-purpose yards. He has 95 yards receiving and 52 now on the ground as this current drive is in its 10th play. 9 plays on 64 yards so far this drive. And it's Carmazzi out of the shotgun. And this time he hands to Jones, but the Redbird defense was not fooled that time. Is up to get the tackle was Sam Young, among others. The safety way up to make that play.
Yeah, he said, I'm tired of seeing that play be successful. Out of his safety position, came up and made a nice play. Stop him short of the first down. Now it'll be 3rd and about 6 or 7.
Certainly a big play right now for the Redbird defense. On 3rd down conversion opportunities this afternoon, Hofstra is 3 of 7. They have converted 1 of those 3 here on this drive. Again, Jones is the lone setback, and in motion is Steve Jackson. And under center is Carmazzi. He's back on the 5-step drop. And he's looking, and he's throwing to the far sidelines, and he has Jones, who tiptoed, or I should say Jackson, and whether or not he got in, he may have stepped out just shy of it because he's a little upset with the spot.
You know, it's a long distance for you and I to see. As you see Jackson right there, a little bit upset. I think he did step out. He recognized he had not gotten to the first down markers. The official, I do not think, is going to give him the first down. We'll see the replay right here as Carmazzi is looking off, but comes back to Jackson. Let's see if he actually did step out a little bit. Well, they're going to give him the first down. He's right over top of the marker, I believe.
Well, he's right there, and they did indeed give him the spot at the first down initially. He was upset at the spot, but was good enough, evidently, to get him the first down. So it'll be 1st and 10. The ball is at the Illinois State 12-yard line with 11:20 to go here in the 4th quarter. Again, the Hofstra offense is marching downfield. That's Jackson in motion. And here comes Karmazzi back with a short drop, and the Redbirds blitz a couple of guys, and he's going to be sacked and dragged down that time. Derek Smith in on the tackle.
Well, I think we could mention finally they get to Karmazzi, and how big was that? Taking him back to about the 17-yard line. We're going to have an official's timeout right now. I think Karmazzi is still down.
He's slow in getting up.
You know, that's the knee that's been bothering him all year since the Buffalo game. And let's see if he is able to continue.
We should mention that as great a season as Karmazzi has had, he's had to battle injuries. And last week, even in the playoff victory against Lehigh, he missed some series because of injury. And there you see Derek Smith coming up with a huge play for the Redbirds.
Yeah, watch at the end of this play. Karmazzi will actually grab his left knee. You can see him right there. A lot of pain, and that's the one that's heavily bandaged. Looks like he injured that again.
37-20, the Redbirds lead, 11:06 to play. Some attention on his knee. Giovanni Karmazzi is coming off on his own without much help, actually, but he did have his knee looked at, and he's coming to the Hofstra sidelines, and we'll see the backup, Ian Butler, take over for him. It's good to see him walk off on his own power, but when you see a guy who's got an NFL career ahead of him, you hate to see anybody looking at the guy's knee.
That's right. He really looks like a warrior, doesn't he, right there? He'd love to get back in, but I think his afternoon might be finished as we're going to see the new quarterback come on, Ian Butler. We did see Ian throw a pass out of a running back formation, and let's see what he has to offer here.
He's thrown 2 touchdowns and 141 yards in his limited playing time this year for Hofstra. Now he's under center on 2nd and 16. The ball is spotted at the Redbird 18. And on play action fake, he's being chased out of the pocket. He's going to be dragged down that time. Devin Finn, Damian Gregory, all in on that as they were chasing him. And Sam Young was also a part of that pursuit.
I think that little rest that Gregory and Finn were able to get there for about 2 minutes really helped them. They are able to get after the quarterback. They don't bite on the fake. As you see Finn on the left-hand side of your screen, he's going to come in here right there and get the quarterback sack.
23-yard line, 3rd down.
So Butler on his first snap is chased out of bounds, and Hofstra has called a timeout. Joe Gardy wants to talk things over on 3rd and 20. The ball is at the Redbird 22, and the Illinois State defense has come up with back. 10:37 to go here. Redbirds lead Hofstra 37-20 in the other 1AA quarterfinal that we're monitoring. Georgia Southern leads UMass 17-13 in the 3rd. The winner of that game gets the winner of this game. And now Butler's back to pass on 3rd and 20. He goes over the middle, and it's intercepted. Ryan Zakola stepped in front of the intended receiver and comes up with a big pick for the Redbirds.
He's one of the big play defensive guys that Illinois State has in that defensive secondary right there. That they couldn't have pick a bigger play to come up with that. Stops another drive by Hofstra. Going to give Illinois State back the ball with 10:29 left here in the quarter. Now you need your offensive line to grind out first downs.
Steve Jackson was the intended receiver, and he was open for a split second until Ryan Zakola stepped in, and the converted safety, who's playing outside linebacker, has been dropping back in coverage all afternoon and finally comes up with a pick and a big defensive stop for the Redbirds. And with the offense on the field now, they're, as Steve said, going to try to grind out the clock with 10.5 to go. And immediately it's Watts who gets the call, and he cuts across the 10, and he's dragged down about the 12 of Illinois State.
Illinois State actually has done pretty well rushing the football. They've carried the ball 30 times for, 147 yards. So actually run the ball very well. We do have to admit that 44 of those yards were on one carry by Dusty Burke. So they're starting to pick up the offensive rushing yardage.
And at this point, the Redbirds are looking at one thing, and that's that clock, and seeing if they can't grind this thing out. Under 10 minutes to go, a 17-point Redbird advantage. It's 2nd and 8 from the Illinois State 11. And Burke hands again, and Watts goes up the middle before he's finally pushed back. He got about as far as the 14 before he was pushed back, and we'll see where they spot his forward progress.
They'll give Avion a pickup of about 2 yards. Avion, I don't think we've mentioned, coming off a huge game last week against Colgate, rushed for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. This afternoon, it's been a little bit different story. 6 carries for 40 yards, but really hasn't been counted on much to carry the ball. He's had quite a few receptions, and I'll tell you, he's played very well. He's has 7 catches also for 88 yards.
And now a big 3rd down play for the Redbirds. It's 3rd and 5 at their own 14-yard line. Steve Castro throw is in motion. A fake toss sweep. Burke throws the ball out, and it's going to be Preisker, but he's going to be immediately hit and tackled on a nice play that time by Robert Thomas. So no first down this time for the Redbirds, and we'll see likely the special teams come on, and we'll see a kick here from Jake Strader.
Yeah, Robert Thomas, number 3, stays at home from his defensive corner position, comes up and tackles a guy 6'4", 250 the way you should, down low. Nice play by Robert Thomas.
This will only be the second time that Strader is on for a punt. The Redbirds have tried on a couple of fourth downs to go for it. His first punt back in the first half was a 33-yarder. But the Redbirds are lining up over the ball here. Before finally a whistle goes off, and did they call timeout, or did they? There's 4 seconds left on the clock.
I think they forced Hofstra to call a timeout. Dusty Burke got under center. Hofstra was not ready, didn't have the return team on or their defensive unit, and forced Hofstra to call a timeout.
Chalk went up to the Redbird coaching staff. Todd Berry sending his offense out there as if it was going for it on 4th and 4. Hofstra scrambled, had to burn a timeout. Now Jake Strader's on to punt. So all along the Redbirds likely wanted to punt, but they get Hofstra to burn one of their timeouts. Morales back to take the kick, but he's immediately dragged down on a nice play by the Redbird special teams.
Morales with the reception.
That time it was Vito Golson coming down on special teams, making the tackle for the Redbirds.
Well, we talked about it at the top of the show. Special teams right there. Great coverage by Illinois State. Good punt, long punt by Jake Strader. And I'll tell you, he's turned into an offensive weapon for Illinois State.
And now at 8:15 left, again, it's going to be Butler coming back in as Giovanni Carmazzi stays on the bench. You get a look at him. He had some medical attention to his knee. It looked like he was getting taped up a few minutes ago, but he is standing without his helmet on the sideline, so Butler will have to call the shots for Hofstra. And out of the shotgun, he flips the ball out to the near side. It's Jimmy Jones, the completion. He's across the 40 to about the 43, where he's pushed out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock at 8:09 left.
I think Illinois State's defense would be very happy to give those plays up right there. They'd like to keep them in bounds to keep the clock running. But right there, Jimmy Jones able to run out of bounds and stop the clock.
It's a 3-possession difference right now. The Redbirds ahead by 17. Don't forget there's the possibility of a 2-point conversion, but Hofstra's going to have to get into the end zone or at least come up with 3 separate scoring plays. Again, out of the shotgun. Butler's back. He's under pressure, but he steps up in the pocket. He's going to turn a nice gain into this as he spins into the Redbird secondary and gets to the 45-yard line. It looked like the Redbird defenders had a chance to haul him down for a loss, but instead Butler turns it into a nice gain.
Well, we can tell he's quite an athlete. Runs the ball a little bit better than Carmazzi right there. Sam Young at the end of the play is going to make a nice hit. But this is a nice first down. We'll stop the clock here with 7:54 left to go in the 4th quarter.
So it's 1st and 10, and again, it's Butler calling the shots now for the injured Gio Carmazzi, and out of the shotgun now. He hands to Jimmy Jones, who is immediately hammered that time. Coming up to make the play is Tim Angston.
Well, we haven't called Angston's number very often. He's been taken out because Tim Beschel is a better cover man. But right here, Angston shows why he's one of the leading tacklers for Illinois State. Huge hit.
That was. The 6'3" senior out of Chicago coming through and making a big hit for the Redbirds. A slight gain of 1 yard. It's now 2nd and 9. And again, back to passes. Butler, he's looking downfield, and he's throwing downfield, and he overthrew his intended receiver, Kamal Roy.
Boy, that had to be a blown coverage right there by Alfred Corbin, number 32. Kamar Roy way behind him, had 2 or 3 yards, and if Butler's able to put that ball on the mark, that's a quick score.
Joe Gardy is pacing the sidelines now as his Hofstra Flying Dutchman will face a 3rd and 9 now at the 43-yard line of Illinois State. And a Redbird stop here would really be significant. On 3rd down so far this afternoon, Hofstra is 4 of 9. You got to think that this is 2-down territory at this point as the Dutchmen trail by 17. Butler back out of the shotgun now. He's got all kinds of time. He slipped momentarily. Now he steps into the pocket and out of the pocket, and a Redbird defender slipped, but Butler is hauled down that time. Ryan Zakola coming up for the tackle along with Tim Angston. He's going to be about 3 yards short of a first down. 2 Redbird defenders slipped, or else that would have only been about a 4-yard gain.
That's right. If we can watch the replay here, I don't know if we're going to get a replay, but Illinois State drops 9 guys into coverage. They only rush 2, Damon Gregory and Devon Finn. Devonfin, I should say, and had good coverage. And now Hofstra has 4th and 2 yards.
And the Hofstra Brain Trust trying to come up with a play here on 4th and 3 now from the Redbird 37. In motion is Morales now. Back to pass is Butler. He's hounded by Sam Young, and it's incomplete. Young rushed the pass, and on that play, Derek Smith was in coverage, and the Redbirds will take over at their own 37.
I love the call defensively by Illinois State, putting some pressure on Butler, forcing him to throw the ball quickly. Illinois State good in coverage on the outside. Now we really need to take care of the ball and take some time off the clock. Dusty Burke comes back in at quarterback.
Well, the rushing game is right now in the spotlight because if Illinois State, as you said, Steve, can chew on that clock, they'll be in great shape. Georgia Southern and UMass, there's about 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Georgia Southern leads that game 17-14. Again, the winner of this game gets the winner of that game in the national semifinals. No running back in the backfield for Dusty Burke. In motion is Avion Cason. They fake, and now it's Dusty Burke with a quick flip pass out to Preisker, who gets out of bounds. He's pushed out about the 45.
How about that? The minute we talk about they need to take care of the ball, run it down the field, they go with no back spread offense, but that's as good as a running play for Illinois State right there. Short completion to Scott Preisker.
Well, Todd Berry's playbook is pretty deep and complex, and he is not afraid to be throwing the football even with a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. But you know that most of these passes from here on out are going to be very controlled. That was about a 2-yard little flip pass, so you're not going to see the ball being thrown downfield, you wouldn't think. Cason is the lone setback for the Redbirds now. And he's going to get the call to the near sidelines. And he shakes off a tackler before he's finally pushed out of bounds. That time it was Rob Levitas who was in on the tackle for Hofstra. But he's going to be very close to a first down, and I think he does have the first down.
Yeah, he'll pick up the first down by a couple yards. Avion could use his experience right there and stay in bounds, keep that clock running. The first down was going to stop the clock anyway. But now with 6:12 left to go in the fourth quarter, Illinois State marching again.
That carry pushed the Redbirds over 100 yards rushing in this half alone. They had 56 yards total rushing yardage in the first half. So the Redbirds have turned it up on the ground game. 6:12 left to go here in regulation. The Redbirds have a 17-point lead and the ball. And this time it's Cason again. He goes right through the defense and across midfield to the 45-yard line. Big hole open up that time. Andy King and Dan Hamma opening up a large hole for him to run through.
That's right. Throw in there as well. Mike Rodbro, the right guard. He pulled on this play. A little counter gap action. Rodbro leading the play up the middle. Huge pickup on first down.
Avion Cason now with 8 carries for 51 yards. The Redbirds have done a nice job not only distributing the passing yardage, but the rushing yardage as well. Watts has 41 yards. Cason has 51 yards. And Dusty Burke, the quarterback, has 54 yards. And this time it's going to be Walter James who gets the call, but he's stuffed immediately at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Joe Todd in on that tackle for Hofstra.
Play really never had a chance from the beginning as James Magna. We're not keeping tackles up here in the booth, but I'll guarantee you he's got a bunch. And when that Buck Buchanan award comes out over the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the defensive player of the year for Division I AA.
Steve Jackson, a dejected look on his face, as all he can do is watch and hope that his defense can come up with a turnover or something. But right now we've got exactly 5 minutes to go in this one. The Redbirds have the football and a 17-point lead. It's 3rd and 6, and now Burke back to pass. He flips the ball out in the flat. It's Watts who comes right through and makes the play. But he's going to be, depending on the spot,
very close to a first down.
Short of the first down. There you see that Army-Navy score, and as soon as this game is over, we'll go to the conclusion of that one. It will be followed by Kentucky and Indiana in NCAA basketball here on CBS 31. There's an official's timeout as they'll bring the chains out for a measurement. Redbirds with a 17-point lead. There's 4 minutes and 33 seconds left to go here in regulation, and Illinois State looking poised to move into the national semifinals. It would be the furthest advancement in school history. The Redbirds already have eclipsed their furthest advancement by getting to this game. And the indication is the Redbirds are about a half a yard short, perhaps even less.
Yeah.
Not much yardage between the ball and the first down marker right now.
4th and about a foot. Let's see what Coach Berry does. He's going to bring on Scott Preisker, the tight end, and I believe he'll probably go to his 2 tight end set right here and may look for an offsides and then drop back into punt formation. Let's see what Coach Berry does.
Well, he's got a couple of wide receivers spread out, and the lone setback is Willie Watts. Burke over center, barking out the play. I think he snuffed this one out, Steve. It looks like he is asking for a delay of game here.
I like the call right here.
Yeah.
Make them, play honest there.
This is smart.
And take the delay of game. You've got the ball inside their 50-yard line. Jake Strader's got plenty of leg to kick it down inside the 10-yard line. I like the call.
That's only the 4th time this afternoon the Redbirds have been penalized. 4 penalties for 25 yards. When you keep that stat under control, you've got a great chance of winning a football game.
That's right. Last week they only had 3 penalties for about 15 yards. So Illinois State has been playing very clean football lately, and the results show that.
So Jake Strader is on as the special teams unit now comes onto the field with 4 minutes and counting for Todd Berry's club to move into the national semifinals. This will be Strader's 3rd punt of the afternoon. His first was a 33-yarder. His second punt, which was outstanding just a few moments back, was a 46-yarder. This is another good punt. And it's going to bounce and roll into the end zone as Robert Thomas does a nice job of not wanting to receive that. But there are a couple of flags on the play. One behind the line of scrimmage, which likely could be holding. One is upfield a bit.
Scott Cook is going to get holding for Illinois State. I'm not sure exactly what the other flag is for. Let's see if we can get a call from the official.
Holding. Party offense.
Now there seems to be some confusion there too.
We saw the initial call of holding against Illinois State. Now we'll get an idea of what the second penalty is and what Hofstra elects to do.
There were a couple of players tangled up downfield, and I don't know if it was a late hit or a clip or something, but that's where that flag was at. Well, we'll let the officials sort it out, and we'll try to tell you when we come back. 3:37 to go. The Redbirds lead by 17. Having to re-kick. Bill Morales takes the kick for Hofstra, and he's pushed out of bounds. They'll spot it at about the 21 of Hofstra. It was a holding call against Illinois State. Hofstra made the Redbirds punt again, but that second flag evidently was an inadvertent flag because there was never any indication on who the penalty was for.
That's right. I think they just picked that one up, put it in their pocket. Illinois State got a good punt out of Jake Strader. Now it's up to the Hofstra offense with the ball at the 21-yard line, down 17 points with 3:28 left to go in the game.
That was a 52-yard punt, so back-to-back good punts there for Strader. He had a 44-yarder earlier in the quarter, and now a 52-yarder for Jake Strader to pin Hofstra back at its own 21. 3.5 minutes left in this one, 3:28 to be exact. And back at quarterback is Rocky Butler. He has been in for 3 series now, replacing the injured Gio Carmazzi. His pass over the middle is caught by Charlie Adams, who's immediately wrapped up by the Redbirds. Ryan Zakola in on that hit.
You got to love Ryan Zakola. I'll tell you, he is the hardest hitter in the defensive secondary for Illinois State. If you're going to catch the ball in his area, you better be ready because he's going to put a lick on you.
3:20 and counting now, and the no-huddle offense is Butler now calling the shots from the shotgun. 1st and 10. Butler back now. He's got time. The Redbirds only rushing 3 linemen. His pass over the middle intended for Steve Jackson is incomplete. Sam Young on the coverage along with Zakola.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit this afternoon. Sam Young once again locked up on the best receiver from the opposing team. You've seen that all year if you followed the Illinois State Redbirds. And what a season that Sam Young has had.
And the Redbird defense can smell this one. They have now dropped back their coverage. They're only, as we said, rushing 3 linemen in hopes of putting some more defensive backs. We could see nickel coverage, which means that there'll be 5 defensive backs in the backfield now for the Redbirds. 3:06 to go in this one. It's 2nd and 10 now. Ball at the 42. Butler back, and he's being chased. He's being chased again. He gets away, and he tucks the ball under, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So he avoided a sack and actually came out getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Illinois State has inserted Kennard Killingsworth, another listed as an outside linebacker, but a very good cover man. They're walking him out on one of the wide receivers, so look for Illinois State to go for that nickel package, or they could even go with 6 defensive backs against the run and shoot.
Derek Smith has been all over the field for the Redbirds today. That secondary, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, was going to be tested. It's been a bend but not break type situation for the Redbird defense, but give them credit. They've come up with a big play when they've had to. Now this is a quarterback draw for Butler. He touched the ball under, and he's not going to get anything as he's snuffed out. Between the 35 and the 40, they'll spot it at the 37-yard line, as the Redbird defense was not fooled at all by that play. Among the tacklers was Tim Beschel. And the clock continues to wind down as Todd Berry takes a good look at it. 2:35 and counting. And here's the kick. Zacola is back to get it for the Redbirds. He's going to just stay away from it. Actually, he gets it on the first bounce. It looked like he was going to stay away from it.
I'm just amazed that Hofstra punted. You got 2:25 left in the game. You're down 17 points. Why do you elect to punt? I mean, what do you have to lose? But I actually like the play that Ryan Zacola made right there, catching the ball. That ball was going to bounce down inside the 10-yard line.
Now, there is a flag on the play. It's tossed about the 40-yard line of Hofstra, and the officials are conferring now, and it's going to be against the Redbirds. Too many men on the field. They were caught in transition there between the special teams and the defense, trying to get on and off the field. And in that case, perhaps the punt caught the Redbirds off guard.
Yeah, I think Todd Berry is just as surprised as you and I were, Kurt, that they did not elect to go for it right there, and they were making their substitution. They'll get caught with 12 men on the field. Now Hofstra will continue to have the football.
So that is the call. It'll be a first down now for Hofstra, so that worked out to the advantage of the Flying Dutchman. Again, we have not seen Giovanni Carmazzi. He left the game with a slight knee injury and continues just to be on the sidelines.
That really seemed to take the air out of the sails of Hofstra, Flying Dutchman. There's no doubt about that. You take away your All-American quarterback, player of the year in Division I AA, that's really got to have an effect.
And Butler's been running the show ever since. He was picked off on that first series, and now he flips the ball out in a little pass to Jimmy Jones, has a couple of blockers, he's across midfield, and he drags a couple of Illinois State defenders past the 45 to the 44-yard line. And they'll stop the clock as they move the chains up with 2:18 to go in this one. Well, folks, the Redbirds are going to be moving on to their first ever national semifinal, and they'll face either the University of Massachusetts or Georgia Southern. Again, if UMass wins that game, it'll be a home game for the Redbirds. If Georgia Southern wins, they will host Illinois State next weekend. Again, out of the shotgun. Butler back to pass. Looking. The Redbird secondary doing a nice job on coverage, and he threw the ball in and out of the hands of Galen Scott. He was as surprised as anybody in the building to see it come at him.
Yeah, that was a rocket throw right at Galen. I'm not sure he would have caught that one anytime, but could have been his third interception of the year, and just glad he knocked that one down.
It looked like Butler didn't necessarily want to run that ball. They pump faked a couple of times. He was not interested in running the football and zipped that ball, but it almost wound up being an interception for Scott. So it'll be 2nd and 10 now at the 44. 1:55 left to go in this one. Here's Butler now, back to pass. He's throwing downfield. He's looking downfield for Roy, but he threw it into double coverage. Back to cover for the Redbirds. Sam Young again in on that with Alfred Corbin.
Yeah, nice coverage by Alfred Corbin and a little assistance from Sam Young. But Illinois State continues to play good pass defense, and what an honor that Illinois State's going to be moving on to the national semifinals. I mean, this team represents the hometown, the university, the professors, the alumni, and extremely well. And it's all a testament to what kind of men that Todd Berry continues to recruit into this program.
And I'll tell you, there were a lot of people that saw Kevin Glenn go down back in October, the All-American quarterback, and said, this team is done. There's no way it's going to make the playoffs. Not only has it made the playoffs now, it's won 2 playoff games, and it's in the Final Four.
That's right. We all heard that.
Butler's pass over the middle is incomplete. The pass that time was a little high for his receiver. Intended that time for Jason Maxwell. It's going to be 4th down now, 4th and 10.
Actually, I believe they're not going to. They can't punt again.
Well, Butler has come off the field, and they've got the punting team on. So with 1:43 to go, down 17, the Flying Dutchmen are throwing in the towel. And the punting unit is on, and there's nobody back for the Redbirds. They don't want to take any chance of fumbling this. Good pursuit that time. We almost had a block, but the ball is going to go out of bounds inside the Redbird 15. They'll spot it at the 12-yard line. So nobody back to take the ball, eliminate any chances for a possible fumble, and the Redbirds are going to get possession back with 1:37 to go. And at this point, it's just a matter of what the final score is going to be. Across the way, the Redbird faithful on their feet as they're cheering their Redbirds on. They're going to move into the national semifinals as they've come here to Long Island and have defeated Hofstra. Just 97 ticks left on the clock.
There's got to be a lot of happy fans back in Bloomington Normal and around Central Illinois who are watching this game, Kurt. This is unbelievable for Illinois State and the whole athletic department.
How about Dusty Burke's offense today? 350 yards passing for the red shirt freshman. He hands to Avion Cason, who gets nice penetration. He gets across the 15 to the 16 before he's finally stopped.
Well, what we need right now is a 43-yard run. So you and I, we can get to that 1,000-yard mark of total offense for both these teams. Right now, both teams combined 957 yards of total offense, and they really do make it exciting. It's been an exciting game and a huge win for the Illinois State Redbirds.
Todd Berry has to be extremely proud of his team. A home win last week, a road win this afternoon, and again, we'll await to see if Illinois State travels to Georgia Southern or is home next weekend to play UMass in the national semifinals. Under a minute to go in this one.
You know, they talked about this being another business trip, and they're all business, and they are all business during their meetings and how they do their training table and their meetings at night, and it just is another business trip to Todd Berry and his coaching staff, and it's all paid off, as this will be a huge win.
Avion Cason stays on his feet to about the 20-yard line before he's finally stopped up, and we're going to have one more snap, and that's going to be it. And the Illinois State University Redbirds are going to win this game. In fact, there's not going to be another snap because there was a 6-second differential between the game clock and the play clock, and that's going to be it. As the time winds down in this one, the Hofstra fans on their feet to applaud their team's outstanding season, which ends today as the ISU Redbirds come to Long Island and win this quarterfinal matchup with the Hofstra Flying Dutchmen. The final score here from Hempstead, New York is Illinois State 37 and Hofstra 20. We'll be back to wrap things up in a minute from Long Island.